Hello, Internet, and welcome back to episode 36 of Survivors Complex. A couple things before we jump in. One, you probably noticed that we're missing a couple of people here today. As I think we said last week, that Morgan wasn't going to be able to be here because she was out doing fun stuff at Sundance. And unfortunately, with some of the weather issues in the South this last week, some stuff got moved around, and our very own Sadell, aka Dylan, had to do rehearsal stuff today. So he's not going to be able to be here either. But we've got we've got a reasonably sized adventuring party today, so we'll see how all that works out. And we've finally figured out a way to nerf Sadell, which is having Dylan not be here. So before we jump into everything, we do have a couple of announcements. One, the giveaway, which we've been talking about for what feels like forever. We had our second giveaway last Monday, and have given away our second pair of dice. We do have one last pair of, or a set of dice remaining that we will be giving away once we meet our YouTube goal, which we are sort of creeping up there. I think we're at like 30 something of our 50 goals. So yeah, we are, once we hit 50, we will be throwing some more dice at everyone. So check that out. And once that giveaway concludes, I think we have some other ones that we're going to get started. So we're itching to give away some more stuff to all of you. So get out there, start recruiting people on YouTube, randomly send people the YouTube link and tell them to subscribe, and we'll hit that goal before too long. We had another episode of Wild Space on Monday that is up on YouTube now. You should be able to check it out on the YouTube page. No, you're shaking your head like, no, it's not up yet. No, it's not up yet, but it will be going up soon. I'm really out of the loop with stuff. It's been a long week, but yeah, that will be going up on YouTube shortly, and you'll be able to check out the latest antics we all got up into, and prepare yourself for whatever Ryan will be throwing at us next. Also, very excited to announce that on Monday, just 2 days from today even, we will be having the first episode of, or first session of Apocrypha, our Apocalypse World campaign that yours truly will be running, and many here will be playing in. It's going to be a lot of fun, a little bit different. If you ever played Apocalypse World before, probably a little different than what you traditionally expect an Apocalypse World game to be, I hope. Always trying to defy expectations. So please come and watch that. If you didn't get a chance to do so, the prologue of our game is up on YouTube right now, and you can watch that, get familiarized with the characters, kind of get an idea of where we're coming from, what we're going to be doing during the game, and stick around for some antics and some laughs. But the first episode of that, or chapter 1 of that, will be on Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Pacific. So please come watch. Otherwise, same old stuff. I don't think we have anything else coming up down between now and the next session of Survivors Complex, other than some Wednesday, Linsday, and rebroadcasts and video games and all sorts of fun stuff throughout the week that will keep you all busy watching. Anything that I missed? Nope. All right. So that being said, I think we'll go ahead and jump back into the world of Sarthia and continue our adventure. So we pick back up on with all of you having recently traveled to the city of Alehaven, where you sought to claim one of the relics of the martial sorcerer, an organization belonging to the first Emperor of Roran, or a small collective belonging to the first Emperor of Roran, Christian Roran, who these relics, these I guess magic-infused pieces of primal energy had been the sort of last remains of these martial sorcery. This organization had been spread out throughout Roran and hidden away, and it seemed through your investigated efforts and what you had learned, this group called the Cryptori are up to, that they were searching for these relics. And you, being the enterprising adventurers and Gale Force, have decided to thwart their efforts by claiming these relics for yourselves and hopefully keeping them out of their hands. As I said, you traveled to Alehaven to seek out this the first one of these relics, this divine relic. There you found your way to a temple of Aricia, sought to speak with the Grand Matron there, and gain some information, hopefully some assistance from the temple in locating this object. The rest of you traveled to the old Mages College of Alehaven to seek out any information you could on the Cryptori themselves. You did a little bit of snooping, talked to some mages there. You found out from one of the archmages of the School of Evocation that they were familiar with the Cryptori. Found a little more information on them, that it seems that this organization, this group, is relatively well known within the mage community, or at least spoken of in hushed whispers. They keep up their recruiting efforts on a regular basis. Advertising banners popping up on YouTube, annoying stuff like that. You gathered as much information as you could, breaking into this poor man's office and rummaging around through his belongings. You did find some letters there, specifically some letters referring to the Cryptori and some correspondence to him and a Professor Zashed from Shia. I believe, Star, you pocketed those letters, and you returned to your group. The rest of you, Den, Lil, and I believe it was Den, Lil, and Sadel, traveling into this temple, speaking with the Grand Matron, and being, through your own sort of negotiating and persuasive efforts, being granted the chance to claim the relic of the divine for yourselves. The Grand Matron led you down to a vault where she showed you this bronze chalice, the simple sort of weathered-looking cup. Pointed out to me its striking similarity to a certain movie about a certain adventurer that wears a certain hat and carries a certain whip. Sadel, given his connection to Aricia, decided to take on this challenge of trying to claim this relic. As he reached out and grasped in his hands, he had a vision of the champion of Aricia that had carried this relic as one of the martial sorcery, and seemed that she had invested it with some message, warning of the danger that is to come and the importance of claiming these relics. Shadow was able to take the object. You all returned, reconvened. Not long after leaving the temple, you were confronted by an elven man named Count Halridian that seemed to make advances towards your group, identifying himself as possibly a member of the Cryptori, being aware of your current efforts. Not being discouraged by all of this, you set your sights on claiming the next relic, deciding to travel north to the island nation of Wintercliff to seek out the Oblivion relic that resides therein. And that is where we pick up our adventure here today on... I'm going to start doing this at the beginning of the session because I put all this work into this on the 8th day of Sol in the year 2353. As you... I can't find a rhyme with it. I really wanted to do the like sails the ocean blue sort of thing, but that very few things rhyme with 3. You see a bunch of trees. As you do wake upon on traveling. Actually, before we get to that point, there were a couple things I think you guys wanted to do during your travel. So we'll sort of backtrack a little bit during those couple days. Yes, Ned, you were going to.
Yeah, I'm going to take one day, 'cause it takes 24 hours to hallow the ship.
Yeah.
And I also would like to get my flail back from Sano.
Okay.
Because he still has it.
Yes, he does.
Good thing we didn't go to fight anything last time.
Well, yeah. So here's... I'm assuming Saddle's been working on the flail, and though he isn't here, I think this is sort of what we came to with it. So you spend the first day of travel casting Hallow on the ship, which, as we decided previously, is going to actually create almost a barrier around the ship. Is going to be the ship itself being about 60 to 70 feet in length. The range of your Hallow spell will more than cover it, reaching probably all the way to the top of the main mast, and well sort of encircling the ship itself. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, go ahead and make a note of the hallowed effects on your ship. If you could just put that under stats. The only thing that I really need you to mark is just the function there, the feature that you are choosing, which I believe was the blocking interplanar travel.
Yes. Let me go to the spell real quick. It is extra dimensional interference.
Okay.
Put that on there. Do you want the other stuff, like the...
No, because that all stay the same. I just need to know what you are choosing as far as
it's on there.
Any effects. And are you having it affect all Celestials, Elementals, Fae, Fiend, and Undead?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Except those that are crew of whatever it was, I think is what we
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think you all decided that your crew will be the ones that are under...
And Gale Force.
effect. No, I want to specify... Actually, let me specify something. So the extradimensional interference says affected creatures can't move or travel using teleportation or by extradimensional or interplanar means. So are you creating it so that non-Gale Force people can't travel in, or that Gale Force people can't be forced to travel somewhere? Because there's a difference there. You can either have it affect your crew and keep your crew from being able to travel places. So none of you will be...
I don't want people to be able, that are not us, to be able to travel on or off my ship. Because people keep getting freaking kidnapped through extra dimensional gates, and I don't like it.
Okay, so what this would do, if you say you want non-Gale Force people to be the ones that are considered affected, then that means everyone who is not Gale Force will be able to travel on and off the ship. Will not be able to travel on and off the ship through interplanar means, but you guys could.
Yeah, I want us to be able to do whatever we want.
Okay.
Because we have magic teleporty sticks, and I don't want to ruin that.
Just be fair. I mean, and I just want to like give you the full disclosure when you're, because this is like a big deal and this is an expensive spell that you're casting. That would not necessarily keep you guys from being able to be kidnapped. It would just keep people from being able to teleport in and attack and then like physically kidnap you, but the gate spell could still get you through this one casting of it. If you want to cast it a second time, you could, but
this is confusing.
Yeah, it's
I'm
the word.
confused.
This is sort of like the wish spell. Kind of, you have to be very precise with your kind of wording on how you're.
No,
gonna...
mostly I don't want other people to be able to get on and off the ship.
Okay, I mean that's fair. You with a single casting of spell, you can prevent, you can hallow the area and prevent people from being able to teleport on and off your ship if they are not members of Gale Force. So you guys can come and go as you please. Other creatures cannot.
So whoever I name to be part of my crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
It's good to know. So make
I'll
a note
think
of that.
about it. If I want to do it again later, I'll do it.
Yeah, and I would allow you to, because it wouldn't be the exact same spell, to do a second casting of it and also make it so you guys can't teleport on and off too. Or if you wanted to cast it, just say nobody, living creatures.
No, I want us to be able to teleport though, because if we have I can't remember what we called it, but the
rods.
The rods, yeah.
Yep.
We need to be able to leave.
Yeah. So that's up to you. With this one casting of it, you can decide that right now, and later on, if you want to recast it and change the classification, you can.
Okay.
Silly question.
Sure.
Just because I know I missed one, but we only have 2 stones placed, right? We have one in the temple area, or the holy place on Port Onrix.
The bed of the gods, yeah.
Bed of the gods, thank you. And then one at the mage's place.
Yeah, that one was already placed.
I was gonna say we didn't place that one though. He just has
you guys had 3, right?
So we're down to 2. Yeah.
You're down to 2.
Yeah, we have 2 left.
Cool. Sorry.
Yeah. So, let's see. So you do that. As far as the skulls, so you go to Sadel's workshop, where he's been working on the skulls for you, and you come in, and he's currently kind of tinkering with a little bit, like some of the attachments on his gun, a bit, sort of tightening some bolts on it, and he sets it aside as you come in. He looks over and says, "Oh, hey Dan. So what's wrong? Do you need something?"
Oh, nothing's wrong. I just wondered if you had thought any more about the flail. I like having it with me.
I did have some thoughts about that, because I did see how much that sort of bothered Star, and I think we kind of all want to avoid that. I hadn't really thought about it either, but it is something you probably want to address. I took a look at the enchantment on it a little bit more than I did before, and I could perhaps, without altering the magic on the flail, I could perhaps change its sort of aesthetic a bit, so it looks a little bit less grisly. I can't remove the skulls without breaking the enchantment, but I could. There's an elven term for it called sort of bedazzling the skulls a bit, make them a little more palatable, you'd say.
Yeah. No, that I think that'd be great.
This is good.
Because it's, I know it sort of bothers Star, and so now it sort of bothers me. But
no, I understand. I
want to get rid of it.
It actually shouldn't take me too long to do. I just need. Well, since I finished up, I was working on my gun a bit and got a new attachment there. I'm actually really excited to show off. But cool. I could probably do that in a couple hours if you're okay with it.
Yeah.
I would need some resources from the ship. I know that Holly has a bit of silver tucked away that she was using when we were working on the cannon. I'm going to need to use about 100 gold worth of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, I'll get started on that right away. I'll have that to you, and I'll have that to you by supper.
Thanks, buddy.
Of course. All right then. I'll get started. And he reaches over, he takes the flail from the workbench, carries over to the forge, and he starts working on that. I do need you to deduct 100 gold from either your supplies or the ship supplies or whatever.
Wait. I'll do that. I'll just take that out of mine. I'll just give him that. Okay. That gold.
So the day passes with Sato locked in his workshop, and you hear the tinging of metal and the whoosh of the forge. I think forges make whooshing noises, but they do in my world. Eventually you settle down as Bala begins serving dinner to all of you, and Sato comes into the mess hall on the lower deck of the ship, and he's got an object in his hand that's sort of wrapped in cloth. He says, "Well, I think I've done something here. Should be okay. And if Star still has any issues with it, I can work on maybe a little more extensive process. I might be able to find some people to help me out with the enchantment and other things. But for now, this might at least help gild the lily, you might say. All right. Well, here, I guess just look it over, see what you think."
I unwrap it like Harry Potter unwrapping his broom for the first time.
Yeah, and there's this golden light that sort of emanates from it. No, so he hands it to you, and you unwrap it, and the flail, the handle, and everything still looks the same. He probably rewrapped the leather on it a bit. It got a bit worn.
Nice.
Everything else looks the same except the 3 skulls at the end now give off a sheen to them. He silver plated them, and in doing so actually molded the silver a bit to give it a less distinct sort of tabaxi appearance to it. They look more like generic human skulls at this point.
Tova is gonna be really offended.
Yeah, well, we can work on that a bit, but they're gilded, they're a little more preserved, they're less like these raw, sort of cracked and sort of blood-stained skulls, and they look more ornamental, and they look less like real skulls, I guess you could say. But they are polished and now silver coated.
Whoa.
Says it's about all I could do with the time that I had, but I can work on it some more if I need to.
Thank you.
Of course. Now I need to get something to eat because I think I skipped lunch. And he heads off to go eat. So, yes.
If you're moving on, there was something I was gonna do while we were on the ship too.
Yeah. What you want to do?
I want to dig out the journal, take a pen, and I'm gonna just use a regular pen and ink, if possible, and write in a little message to see if it does anything to the book.
Okay. Same as before?
No, so I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say, Do you know the name? Oh, crap. I wrote it down, and now I've forgotten it. Or does the name... Come on, scroll. Work with me. There we go. Berlian mean anything to you? And that's what I want to write into the book. Let's see if it does.
Right. So sort of Harry Potter style.
Yep.
You write in the book asking this question. Mm-hmm. After you finish the text, the ink is absorbed into the page as it was before. It doesn't seem to react any differently.
Okay. No worries.
Is there anything else you wanted to try or anything you wanted to do while...
No, because I don't feel like I know at least that there's the family brewery on the island, but I don't know enough yet that I want to test the waters yet, so.
Okay. Yeah, you have the location there whenever you guys decide to travel there. So, anything else anybody wanted to do while you are traveling for the next 3 days?
Question.
Yes.
Does my flail count as a silvered weapon now?
Yes. Sorry, I should have made that specific. Yeah, it does count as a silvered weapon.
Let's go find us some rare things.
Yes! That's all. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you're good.
Where could they be?
Yeah, which, if it's not like there's an island of them somewhere. If anybody else wanted to do silver plating, and it's not something we've ever talked about, but it's a relatively easy thing. If anybody's like, oh, I really want a silver plated dagger or something like that, you can. Sadel's capable of doing that. But anyway, for this purpose, yes, it is a silver weapon.
It's silver everything.
It's up to you guys want to spend the money for it.
I think the gold pirates have a nice ship. Just wait.
Gonna bedazzle the hell out of this ship. Okay. So the next few days pass, unless there are any more sort of awkward exchanges between Star and Den, seeing her freshly minted flail. We will sort of skip forward to the last day, like I said, the 8th of Sol, where towards the middle of the afternoon, you've been seeing this sort of towards the north, this dark shape approaching as you approach the island of Wintercliff. Eventually, as the island comes into full view through sort of the ocean mists and the rolling waves leading up to it, and you can see this vast wooded expanse in front of you, tall trees stretching up for miles and miles in every direction, this rough terrain that seems to slope upward as you go. Not the jungled sort of flora that you've been used to and gotten accustomed to some of the islands that you've passed, but this is a tall pine trees, this more sort of robust northern timberland that sweeps over the entirety of this island before you. And as the ship approaches, you crest down the cliffs for a while, the cliffs themselves having this white stone, this sort of a beautiful that reflects in the setting sun. There are the island itself being very large, being the size of any of the other island nations on in Roran. You can see to the north through these forests, snow-capped mountains far beyond, deep into this wooded terrain. And as you sail east, following the shore of the island, as the sun is beginning to set, you crest a sort of a peninsula that juts out from the island itself, and you catch your first view of the city of Wintercliff. The city itself, upon your approach, is simple. Not as large as Shia or Alehaven, or any of the other cities that you've encountered in your travels here in Roran thus far. Muted colors, no exterior wall protecting the city just sort of open, spreads out, gradually giving away to the surrounding lands. You make out crisscrossed muddy roads and thoroughfares cutting through these streets, the houses themselves being short, single-storied with thatched roofs. You see plumes of gray smoke trailing up from many of the houses in the city in the late setting sun. The only notable structure within this sprawling city is the single high-walled keep in the center. The only really defensible structure that you make out within Wintercliff. The keep's stone matches the gray of the surrounding homes, and despite its ancient and weathered appearance, it stands an imposing and resolute construction, and you can see the sort of the age of the city and get sort of a feel for what to expect upon your arrival. There are not nearly as many ships in the harbor, though there are a few dozen. It's a rather quiet affair as you enter and dock your vessel. Unless, are you guys approaching underwater again like you were before?
No, I said that last time that we were going to stay underwater.
So
I forgot we talked about that.
What happens is as you see that, as you come around that ridge, you sort of begin your descent underwater and begin making your way through the frigid waters of that surround the city and into the harbor proper. All right. But so at that point, now that you can't see the city, there's nothing else for me to describe. But you make your way into the harbor, reaching an area where you can sort of along the ocean bed, where you can rest your ship safely and proceed as you wish.
So, where are we going again?
We're looking for like a... Crap. Not a temple, what's the word that I'm looking for?
The stronghold.
That one.
That's right. Okay. Well, should we go in, like, find a tavern and do some asking?
Sounds like the best plan to me.
Yeah, it's worked the last couple of times, so... Why stop now?
I like the file, by the way, Dan.
Do you?
Yeah, it looks nicer.
I thought so. Sadell did a good job.
He really did. I'll have to go thank him later.
Yeah.
Sort of awkward silence that comes in.
Anyway,
There is,
let's
I
go
like
for some more
awkwardly like kick the dirt, like...
All right. So the six of you gather yourselves together, gather your belongings, and swim your way to the
I
surface.
will, I can, it's a ritual, I always forget. I'll ritual cast Water Walk, which once we get out into the water will pop us up to the surface.
Cool. So you cast the spell's ritual, which I forgot it's a ritual too, so that makes things easier in the future. I'll just assume that you do that. You all step out into the freezing cold waters that now currently envelop your ship, and quickly find yourselves ascending to the surface, and then one by one just standing on the surface of the water, just to the western edge of the harbor, which, like I said, is not as busy as the ones that you had been to previously. There, you don't hear as much noise. There isn't as much attention that would necessarily be directed towards you as you come to the surface. However, a brisk wind quickly catches all of you in your now soaking wet garments, and you all feel like you might succumb to hypothermia.
Not me.
About it quickly. Not you. You're fine. But the rest of them.
Sorry, guys.
We really need to find a way around that.
I don't know how any of you stand this. It's freezing.
Well, I live in the water.
Well, you're... Yes, that.
Played our armor is not so good now.
As you see, like bits of frost beginning to form at the edges of the armor. Surprisingly, given that it is not winter currently, there's no snow on the ground, but it is still very, very cold this far north.
I like this place.
The tavern.
Let's go. Light jog across the water.
All right. You quickly, all six of you, running across the water towards the muddy, sort of rough shores of the city. Yes?
But none of us get mud on our boots because water walk also works on surfaces such as acid, mud, snow, quicksand, or lava. You're all welcome.
Yeah, you are all able to walk across the beach that you otherwise might have gotten mud on your shoes with. So
we
you all
still look amazing.
Yeah,
But you're being soaking wet, but
yeah,
You're not
you
muddy.
guys splash away to shore and go trundling up onto the beach. Make your way up the steps onto the wooden docks.
we just appeared out of the middle of the water.
Not like right. I mean, essentially, if the harbor is kind of over here, you guys kind of came up over here onto the shore.
Okay, because I was like, and nobody noticed these like 6 people.
No.
appear out of nowhere?
My assumption was that we've done this enough at this point that we kind of like hide around a corner and like.
Yeah, that was sort of my assumption too. I mean, that's up to you.
Well, you know what happens when you assume.
Yeah. In this circumstance too, and as I was saying before, this harbor has very little activity in it right now. It's much smaller. You get the impression that there isn't as much sort of business done through this area, or there isn't as wide a sort of array of ships that come and go from here, because as you can see, most of what is being loaded onto these ships here is timber. It seems that, and any of you that are familiar enough with the area would know that Wintercliff is mainly sort of a lumber production is their main export here, unlike some of the other cities, which are more kind of trade hubs. But you do splash your way up onto the docks and quickly go rushing into the city streets, where there are still some people kind of meandering about, some wearing... dressed for the summers in Wintercliff, which are still kind of some thick sort of hemp or flannel clothing, and they all give you a strange look as these 6 sopping wet strangers come rushing through the city streets, desperately looking for a tavern or an inn. I'm just gonna have you make a perception check looking for a place to not die.
24.
16.
12.
Okay. All right. You go looking at, you kind of scan the area around it. You do make out towards the keep. You can make out a sort of thicker plume of smoke, giving that there might be some more activity in that area. Lucius and a few of the others you notice, but I think Lucius catches onto it first with his roll. You go rushing in that direction, and as you come around the corner, you can see this sort of almost like a cabin-looking building. It's a sort of built with thick logs in the center of this square, and you can see 2 chimneys coming up from the other side of the building and billowing up this thick smoke. You see shafts of light piercing out onto the ground from the warm and inviting interior of the building, and hear a bit of music echoing from within from probably a lone instrumentalist. And there is a banner above the door that reads "The Shepherd and Flagon." And you quickly go darting towards the building, all of you rushing inside into the warm interior of the tavern and inn. You can see the patrons all sort of gathered around, sitting at the tables, probably a dozen or so people dispersed or kind of sparsely occupying this the interior of the tavern, and most of which quickly turn towards you, the six strangers that just barge in through the door, and see you all standing there, or most of you standing there, freezing, teeth chattering, still very damp in that moment. And the patron, the standing behind the bar, a older man with very heavy set wrinkles and balding head, he puts down the glass that he's cleaning and gives a cautious eye towards your group. Are all of you okay?
A bit chilly.
Did you fall off a ship or something?
Yeah, we did. We had hit a bit of rough weather while coming into port.
Bit of a spill.
Well, go sit yourselves down by the fire there. I think I'll bring some drinks over to your table. Just try not to drip too much on the floor.
We're standing in the doorway. I'm like behind Lucius, like wringing out all of his scarves. Like.
And you quickly all rush over towards one of the large hearths at the side of the room and pull one of the tables closer and begin to try to dry yourselves off over there. Eventually, the barkeep comes over to your table and puts down 5 or 6 like sort of steaming mugs in front of you. He says, figure some warm mead might help get you all back up and running.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very kind.
Now, if you all fell off a ship, I understand if you might have lost your money. I'll let you have this one on the house here if you need to. People look to be in dire straits. Is there anything else I can do to help you?
Not now. Let us warm up a bit, and then we may trouble you for a spell. But thank you so much for your hospitality.
All right. Well, you all feel a bit better then. And he walks away, giving you kind of a glance over his shoulder as he does, and heads back over to the bar. The rest of the patrons beginning to not pay so much attention to all of you.
Dad, we gotta figure out a different. When we're in these colder waters, that doesn't work so well.
I'm gonna take ages to dry.
Yeah, it's going to take you a long time.
Sorry. I forget you guys aren't as good with the cold as I am.
I grew up literally in a desert.
Well, everyone knows that you're going to complain, but...
I'm going to complain more so than anyone else.
Yeah, it's okay. We can get used to it. It's just these cold waters. Yeah, with all this plate, that's a little much. Whew.
Yeah.
Next time we do that, how about we do it on a nice hot beach somewhere?
Next time.
And I understand that.
We need a beach episode.
Right. Hot spring episode. Let's do this. I understand that we want to keep a little bit of a low profile, but us coming out of the freezing waters, dripping wet, probably not as low-key as we assumed.
Well, I'm not worried about the barkeep noticing us so much as I am people who might have seen our ship before.
That's true, But remember this, and if I'm hopefully I'm remembering this one correctly, Sean. Remember this thing that we are looking for was stolen by a bandit king. So who knows who is in his employ?
I mostly mean the Cryptori that are on their way here to get it.
Yes, I understand.
And I'd rather, no offense, but I'd rather you guys be wet and cold than have my entire crew killed, so.
Well, and just because we don't know what the Hound did before we got the ship. That's a pretty iconic looking ship, so it's probably for a little while at least okay to keep it on the down low.
Yeah, that too. That's a good thought.
I, as a player, had completely forgot that we took it from Hound.
We did change the sails, but it's white wood.
It's a big ass white ship.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking for a bandit king stronghold. Guys, I'm having a hard time keeping this all together. Did this one have a name or not?
The relic, you mean?
No, the stronghold or the bandit king, whose place it was.
Nope. Did not.
Okay. We don't know.
Confusing all of our relic clues now, so.
Just that it was stolen by a bandit king and I'm freezing, I apologize, within a stronghold in the northern hills of Wintercliff.
Okay. Well,
Sean, how big is this island? Do we have a sense of how big it is?
We have a map.
Yeah, it's each of the islands of Roran is, essentially a country within itself. So, a couple 100 miles.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a vast and untamed wildlands around. There may be some other small villages. You aren't really sure. None of you are really familiar with this area.
Can I ask a question, actually?
Yes.
Because I always see you guys measuring on the map. How, to scale is the map on Roll20?
I'd say within a probably a 50-mile range of error on that. You can only get so precise. It's pretty close to
Okay.
what it is. So that's probably good scale.
Cool.
I'd say. Some of the actual distances of the actual markings on the map, like the cities and how close they are to the shore, that's not done to scale exactly because I can only get them so precise. But the actual size of the islands themselves are pretty close.
Cool.
So do we just ask for information on the foothills, or do we go straight to asking about any bandit strongholds nearby?
It's probably not a good idea to start asking about bandit strongholds.
I don't know. If we pose ourselves as these people don't think we have any money. They're we were on our way here. We heard there were some bandits. Pay us to get rid of them.
We might be able to get rid of them.
Good old mercenary work, like we used to do in the good old days
The olden
a year
days,
ago.
but, we could possibly do that. I don't see how that could possibly come back to bite us. It will. I'm not saying that it won't, but it's a good idea.
Well, it's better than just walking around saying
Yelling out. Yeah. Hey, Bandit King, where are you?
Yeah, or just wandering around and you all freezing to death. It's my best plan.
It sounds completely. That's kind of where I was gonna go. Hey, any trouble in town that we can help with? Make some coin.
Sean, I'm gonna guess that the city Wintercliff is the capital city of this island. Are there any smaller cities here, or is this just the major hub?
You don't know.
Okay.
I don't think none of you have been here before, so it's hard to tell. You didn't see any other cities when you were approaching.
Cool.
There are patrons in the bar, though. A couple dozen people you can ask if you'd like.
I think we should talk to the nice innkeep.
Yeah, we should probably leave some money on the table when we leave. Just something, if we can. That was really nice of him.
It was.
So, somebody going over to talk to the innkeeper?
I'll like flag him down, get him to come to us.
Okay. So he's tending over to a couple of other patrons, a man and woman that are currently playing cards at a table right now, giving a couple drinks over to them. As he walks past you, you sort of flag him down. He stops. He's like, "Oh, feeling better."
Yes, thank you. We're very grateful for your kindness.
Oh, we don't get too many travelers around here, so I try to be nice. Hope it comes back to me in the end. So,
on that note, kind of, as you guess, we are a bit short, all things considered. Do you know if there's any troubles in town we could help out with?
Well, that's awfully kind of you. Are you mercenary types going around helping people?
We could say that.
We had some of those. To be honest, Wintercliff isn't typically the place where adventurers come to do business because, as you can see, he kind of motions around some of the bar. Most of us can take care of ourselves. And you do look around, and you can see that the people that are in this town, very hardy looking, most of them very well built. The man and the woman sit at the table. Each of them has sitting next to a very large, the woman has a very large axe sitting next to her chair, kind of resting on the floor. The man has what looks like a belt hanging from the back of his chair with two short swords on it. And as you look around, you can see that everyone else in the tavern is pretty well armed and looks to be pretty capable of handling themselves. And he gestures and says, "It's hard living around these parts, and most of what we get, we have to take for ourselves. So we take care of most of our own problems. Part of the reason why we've never bothered with building a wall around here."
That's fair enough. We were originally only planning on making a short stay here, but you know how plans have to change occasionally.
Well, seems like you got some ill fortune if you see your ship sank or capsized or something off the coast.
Sank.
I can see if I can get some people together, come out and help scavenge anything if you need it. Did you lose anyone?
No, everyone is. It was not a big ship. All of us are here safe. And we think we managed to get everything picked up and stored safely in town before coming here.
I guess that is fortunate then. Yeah, if you're looking for work, I know that some people might be looking for hands, help with move some lumber around on the docks, help load ships. Some other people might be looking for hands to do some. If any of you are handy with a bow or can hunt, I might be looking for some people to do some hunting. Always popular around here is looking for escorts to help the lumberers that make their way up into the hills there, looking for people to guard their camps just in case wolves, things like that, tend to get a little bit too close. But otherwise, nothing that I know of.
Who would we speak to if we wanted to inquire about possibly being escorts? We're pretty handy as a team to kind of keep an eye out and deal with rabble like bandits and such.
Well, most of the work is done through the Hunters Guild. You could inquire over there, see about contracting through them. If you're wanting to do it independently, you'd have to go down to the docks and see about speaking to some of the businesses that do work through here. But it's enough to make a few gold a day if you're looking for some honest work.
Well, thank you. That's really helpful for us.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate you letting us kind of warm up here and dry off. That wind's a little biting.
He gives a smile and says, "Well, you're welcome to stay here if you need to. If you need a place, I got some rooms open. Doesn't really tend to book itself up much, so you're welcome to stay here if you need to. And if you need anything else, just let me know. I'll bring out some bread for you, so you have at least something to help the meat down." So,
what is your name before you go? I don't think any of us asked.
Gregor. Gregor Brunswick. This is my establishment here.
Well, it is a very nice place you have here, and again, thank you for all that you've done.
Well, thank you all for, I guess, not making a bigger scene of anything, not getting more water on my floor. So I do appreciate that. But I said, willing to offer a helping hand if I need to. I'll be over. Got some other patrons I need to tend to, make sure they got their drinks and everything. And he heads back over and starts tending to the other patrons in the bar.
Well, I mean, the escort sounds pretty good. I don't know how fast we'll get to the stronghold, but if they head up north for cutting wood, that may get us nearby.
Well, they're good people to ask if they've ever seen anything like that.
True.
And who knows what we might find in the wilds.
Going down to the docks may be a good idea, just to snoop and see if we can find out who, if any new weird people, aside from ourselves, have kind of come into town. This doesn't seem like a place that a whole bunch of... This sounds bad, but elves would be coming to vacation, so they may be noticed. But who knows?
Do we know anything about like the Hunters Guild here? Because I know Gregor was like, you can either go to the Hunters Guild or you can go to the businesses. Would it be like frowned upon if you circumvented the Hunters Guild, or?
I said none of you have been here before, so you're not really sure.
Well, and to be fair, we don't actually have to take a job, but it's just sort of trying to find people who might know the way around. Alex, you're muted.
It's begun.
I think I haven't done that for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and anyway, well, if we go to the docks, we can ask if there have been any other ships in. We're looking for friends, other companions that were traveling here that we were supposed to meet, etc., etc. If we don't find anything, then it's probably a case of finding our way into the hills with someone who'll know their way around.
At that, Saddle sort of leans in and says, I was thinking about that. I know a thing or two about magic, even though I'm not as adept at casting it as most of you are. I was thinking that if you all want to focus on finding this relic and locating that, I can work on trying to snoop around, see if I find anything on the Cryptoria here and look for activity there. Maybe Tova can come help me do that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't go alone.
But we can split up tomorrow and we'll go work on that and go kind of ask around the city, see what we can find. And the rest of you can see what you can get from this guild or see about finding information on these this bandit stronghold.
Just use the bracelet if you get any issues.
Will do.
What time is it?
It's just after probably an hour or so after sunset.
Maybe we should sleep. And then go to the docks in the morning.
Yeah, it's probably best. I don't think anybody's gonna be really needing help until then.
All right. So you all finish off your drinks. Gregor brings some bread to all of you to get something to eat too, and shows you where your rooms are. You're given one sort of larger room to make use. It's sort of probably the limits of the hospitality is trying not to use too much resources.
I was about to say I will give him a single gold piece.
Okay. He takes it from you.
Nice.
He takes it from you with a little bit of sort of, oh well, that's all you have. But eventually he takes it, being a businessman. But you're given your rooms and are able to get a full night's rest. Waking the following day, you're able to do your morning rituals, pray, get dressed, eat some of your rations, or try to bum some more food off Gregor, if you want. So I'm
sure my rations have dried off a bit now.
Yeah, at this point. So the Sadel and Tova will head to scout around the city, snoop around for people coming and going that are not typical business people here. The rest of you are heading to where? Did you want to go to the docks to do some investigating there? Or did you want to go find this guild?
I want to go to the docks.
Okay.
I'll go with you.
So everybody going to the docks then? All right. So you head towards the docks, which are a little more lively today, and the streets themselves a little more busy. People wheeling carts with stores of kind of packed grain and hay for store for the or kind of bringing in from the stores of what's been transported to the city. You don't get the impression that there's much agriculture in this area, given the rough terrain. There are more of these sort of the winter Cliffians out and about throughout the day. Again, the same. Everybody here looks very well armed and very accustomed to the hard living up here. You venture down towards the docks where you can see a couple of ships in the harbor which are currently having timber loaded onto them. There are a few dozen people kind of moving around on the docks here, some harbor masters which are sort of attending to the goings on. So plenty of people for you to approach.
Walks up to one of the harbor masters.
Okay. It's a sort of a middle-aged woman with black hair that has streaks of gray running through it, kind of loosely braided, a bit kind of frazzled looking. She wears a very heavy, kind of thick gray wool coat and has a clipboard. She's currently yelling at a couple of people that are moving a ship of a large kind of bundle of timber across the docks, and she's yelling over them and says, "Tie that down right. I don't want another incident like yesterday." God damn it. And she's making some notes or scratching on the clipboard that she currently has with her.
He kind of, excuse me, I hope I know you are busy here, but I just have a few questions about work, if you have the time.
If you're looking for work, you should just apply back on the notice board back there. We'll be in contact with you. I'm not currently doing any hiring.
Then that works. Thank you very much.
All right, then.
Slowly walks away. Goes back to the group, of course. Well, there's the board up there that we could probably talk to, but with all the people around, I don't think they're doing much, but we could always check. So he walks over to the board.
Okay. Sarah?
Well, he's chatting with it. Like, I want to kind of keep an eye out to see see if anybody looks out of the ordinary, any shifty people on the dock, or if it does look just, like mostly longshoremen and timber folk and what have you.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Okay. 16?
16, you scan around the docks around you. You can see it's mostly dock workers currently loading and unloading the couple of ships that are currently moored in the harbor. You don't see anyone that's really anybody that looks shifty. There are a couple of individuals that are stationed around that aren't dock workers. Some more well-armed, looks like locals that are currently in a couple of groupings near some of the ships. Currently, some of them are just sitting on barrels. Looks like they're kind of picking their nails with knives and stuff, and just like waiting. Look to be rather bored. Some of the others are currently speaking with one of the presumably captains or some other sort of official from one of the merchant ships that's currently in the harbor. Otherwise, you don't notice anybody that looks suspicious that sets off your radar.
Okay. Can I go over to one of the ones that's like picking his nails with his dagger or whatever?
Yeah. So you walk over to this one. It's mostly human, and most of the people around here are human. It's a younger man with tan skin, kind of short red hair. He looks up at you as you approach and kind of, a lot of armor there.
Yeah, it's to keep the rabble off.
What do you need?
Just wondering, we got in last night and kind of had a bit of bad luck, and so we were looking to see if maybe, I don't know, you guys all seem like you can take care of yourselves, but if anybody needed some help dealing with, I don't know, bandits or, anything like that. Do you know of anything? We're just looking to get a little bit of change in our pocket.
No real, haven't had bandit problems around here for a long time. So nothing like that. And most of the problems that we have are with critters coming out of the woods. Not really exciting stuff. No, not for anything for a knight such as yourself.
No, you're too kind. I'm not a knight. I just play one on TV.
What's a TV?
It's a tabaxi word. Don't worry. I'm just joking around with you.
All right. But yeah, we don't really get that.
Tabaxi words. I don't get it.
We don't really get that much excitement around here. I wish it'd be a lot more interesting than most of the escort jobs that we end up doing. Yeah, the most you're gonna get is a rabid wolf or a bear sometimes. That's a little bit more exciting. But nope, haven't had any bandit problems around here since probably my grandpappy's time.
Oh, okay. Well, would it be fruitful for us to maybe get out of the city and head north and see if maybe they need some more help or something?
You could. There's some small villages around the main hold here, but you're not really going to find much a couple of miles out. It's mostly just timberland, some mining or some lumber operations. Not a whole lot else beyond that. I really wouldn't recommend venturing too far into the woods, though, to the timberland, because you're just going to get lost.
Okay, well, thanks. I appreciate your time.
All right. Well, if you or your company there needs any help, the guild can certainly provide an escort if you need any. If you're looking for anything in particular.
Okay. Well, thanks. Have a good day.
All right. You too.
Well, my buddy over there says there's not really a bandit problem, and there's not much outside of the city. I mean, there's a couple of small villages, but too far out, it's just all timberland.
Did First Time's Note say how long ago this thing was stolen by a bandit king? Because if so, we might have been barking up the wrong tree the entire time.
I don't think it said anything about like how long it's been.
No, but I'm starting to think the Bandit King might be long dead.
Mm-hmm.
Silly question, but could like this city have been started by a bandit king?
So here's me and you are on the same mental wavelength, and he kind of points at the only keep in the area. That's probably what they're looking for, or that's probably where we need to go.
It said the Northern Hills, though, right? I didn't make that part up.
It did say the Northern Hills.
This is like
We
the.
That is the southern. Okay. Well,
Aren't we like on the south half of the
Yeah.
island?
Yeah.
Right, you guys know I don't read a lot, and so I just want to like put that out
Hey.
there.
no, it's
Give
a
me
good-
5 minutes. I'm going to go ask a couple of questions. I am gonna head back into the city a little bit. I'm actually gonna look for the first, say, sort of general store I see.
Okay. Yeah. What are the rest of you doing at this time? Or are you just waiting for Star at the docks?
No, I want to ask that guy a question.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick around, and if we head towards the hunters thing, I'll just kind of follow around.
Okay. Because you guys don't have to do everything separately. As much as you guys love splitting up.
While they're doing that, I think because we've learned that like the bandit problem hasn't been a thing, he's going to. Actually, how far away is the Shepherd and Flagon from where we are? It's probably like a minute or two walk.
Yeah, maybe like half a mile.
Okay, he's going to tell Lillinden that he's going to go back to the tavern, and he's going to ask Gregor, like, what are the, like, stories or something of the bandits, because, like, they're here, but just to get some more information on how long ago it was.
Okay. So you're going back to the inn. Star, you're looking for a general or a general store. Den, you're going over to talk to the people that Lil just talked with.
The young guy, yeah.
Yeah, and Lil is
With
gonna
me.
go with you. Okay. So Star, since we'll do yours, since you said what you're doing first. You guys kind of all split off, going your separate ways. Star, you go and you find a general store. There are a couple. I would say there are a lot of different stores in the area. There's not like a. It's more like small little specialty stores than you don't really find many general stores. The closest thing you really have is sort of like an equipment shop.
Yeah, I was going to say
like
if there's one for equipment for exploration or going to the mountains.
He just goes to Kanukins.
Yeah, essentially there is ye old Kanukins on the corner, and they've got there's a toboggan out front, and there is one wall with a bunch of shoe boxes on it. Inside there's like a bunch of canoes and stuff hanging from the ceiling. But anyway,
Welcome to Bass Pro Shop.
Yeah, no, you head inside, and it is sort of like a general sort of utilities and supplies shop. Rope, like mining and lumber equipment, repair kits and tools for wagons, things like that. Typical sort of exploration kind of goods through the shop. So you head in there. It's a rather large kind of open space. The doorways are the entryway of the place is fairly large for getting in. Like probably wagons come in and out of this shop with the supplies that they need. And towards the back, currently kind of with an armful of rope bundles that they're like stacking in the corner, is a very burly man, very thick and heavy set human, who sees you enter, gives a wave towards you, says, "1 minute." All right. What do you need?
Sorry, first question I have to ask is a rather restrained one. I'm just sort of gathering information, but I can make it worth your time. Have you lived on this island your whole life?
I'd say so. I did a brief stint, made my way down to Xylown, but nope, I've been here since day one, pretty much.
Oh, you're probably the exact person I need to talk to. Me and my friends, we're adventurers, treasure hunters of the sort. We've heard rumors of some kind of old fort or stronghold in the foothills. I was wondering if you'd heard anything about that.
Stronghold. Yeah. The only thing I can think of is the hold of the Red Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of a ghost story around here. Nobody's there as far as I know now, but nobody really goes near it. Old sort of bandit fortress, a few dozen miles to the north of here. Allegedly it's cursed or haunted or something like that. A lot of the people around here spread a lot of stories. I think it's probably just some sort of creatures out there that are giving everybody a hell of a time, but I don't really do much traveling these days. But yeah, I think that's probably what you're talking about. If you've heard any stories about it, it's about the only thing of note or excitement that's ever happened around here.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much. Where did you say it was located again, or could you give me some better directions?
I can't. You'd probably want to talk to some of the rangers from the Hunters Guild. They do most of the traveling and the ranging around here, so they'd probably be able to give you a better idea of what you're looking for if you were wanting to do some sightseeing up that way. Probably be able to hire an escort, which if you're not from here, probably need one. Anyone that ventures too far into the woods rarely comes back.
Thank you for your time. You've been very helpful. I hate to leave you without giving you anything for this either.
As long as you promise if we need anything to come back, I don't need any handouts. More than willing to talk to people.
I'm sure we'll need some supplies.
All right. Well,
thank you for your time.
He nods, goes back to his work.
And I will head probably back to where we were standing at the docks, which is probably near the notice board. Okay,
so you've done your thing. Dan, you were next. So you and Lil go back over to the young guy.
Oh, I just wanted to ask him where the Hunters Guild was, so no one got that information. Excuse me. Real quick.
The redheaded young man looks up. He says, yeah.
The Hunters Guild. They point us that way.
Yeah, you're gonna follow this street here for about half a mile, cut right when you get down to the inn. Follow that just about outside the keep. It's gonna be a large building. They've got a big red door out front. Probably see a bunch of horses and stuff over there too. It's gonna be hard to miss.
Fair enough. Thanks.
All right. So the two of you head back towards the notice board. You can see Star had ducked into a building just about a block down and is beginning to come back your way. The three of you can kind of meet up. And Lucius, you're kind of a bit of further walk going all the way back down towards the inn. You make it there and you head inside. Inside, and you see Gregor currently tending at the bar.
Is my mic a little bit better, Savannah?
It's very quiet.
I'll turn it up. Cool. So I turned it down really low because I didn't want it to be completely crazy. All right, how about that? A little bit better.
Up a bit more.
A little bit more.
A little bit louder now. A little bit louder now.
Of course you did.
I'd go up just a tad bit more, though.
Cool. Let me just... Alright. Better?
I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
better.
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Yeah, my apparently Zoom was auto-adjusting my mic when I told it not to, but that's cool.
Yeah, it's all right.
So he goes up to Gregor. Gregor, I just have a few questions for you. I know you're probably busy and everything, but
Gregor finishes cleaning the glass. He's looking. He says, "It's all right. What do you need?"
As we were, going through our day, and I know we've talked about, you guys don't have bandits here anymore, but on our travels, we kept hearing about these, I don't know, this bandit that was in Wintercliff that kind of made the name for himself, and we just assumed that it was like still here. But as we're getting here, we're noticing that maybe that was a long time ago. So are we?
I'd say so.
How long ago was it? Just as a.
If you're talking about the Bandit King Grendel, then that was probably about 200 years ago or so.
Okay.
The Red Hand hasn't been around for a long time.
Grendel. Again, the stories that we have heard says that there's some kind of fortress, keep, something on the upper edge of the island. Is that true as well? Was that part of their...
I really couldn't tell you. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's still there, if it's been torn down. I know what people around here talk about when it's dark and they want to spook each other out a bit, what the kids run around saying, but allegedly the place is cursed or haunted or something. One knows if you're from around here, you know not to travel too far north and not to go near the fort, though most people don't know where it is at this point.
Well, if it's been 200 years, yeah, I can understand. It's just, as we said, we're looking for work, and we've heard that some things have happened here, but if this hasn't happened for 200 years, maybe we are just chasing our tails. But thank you for all of that, and again, thank you for the room. While we're here and about that, we might need a room for maybe a few nights. What is the going rate for it?
Oh, well, if you're just looking for one room for a night, one gold usually covers you about 3 days for a room. So, like I said, simple living around here, probably a lot cheaper than what you'll find in most cities.
All right. Thank you for, again, I know that we paid you a gold yesterday. I just didn't know if that was, 1 gold per night. So I just wanted to make sure that if we needed another room, that we had the money for you, just because this is your place of business.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, I like doing some good work every now and then, helping people out that are having a hard time. But I'm also trying to run a business here. And if you have the ability to pay, I sure would appreciate it.
We will make sure that whatever we use or anything, we will definitely pay you for it. Thank you again. I must get back to my group.
All right. Well, if you need anything else, let me know.
Thank you. Of course.
So we'll say what probably happens is the three of you sort of reconvene. Is your plan now to go to the hunters?
Well, I was gonna say go find Lucius, then head to the hunters,
which is sort of on the way. So Lucius, I think, walks out, and you have that sort of awkward moment of, "Hey, I found something," and which we can play out right now if you guys really want to do that. But...
So it turns out we were backing up the wrong three. We were backing up the wrong three the entire time.
We usually are.
Yeah, that's usually a thing. Apparently, this whole Bandit King was like 200 years ago.
Yeah, Star was just telling us about that.
What did you find out?
Apparently there's this old red hand keep up to the north in the foothills from the Bandit King's time. The locals tell scary stories about it.
It's haunted or cursed or anything. Yeah.
Wow, I'm really
Never-
glad we stood around waiting for Lucius to come back to tell us the same thing that you told
No.
us.
Apparently, the only thing new that I found out was the Bandit King's name, but that's it. But he's dead, so.
Well,
So if
hopefully
get
we
us-
don't run into his ghost.
We're going to run into his ghost.
We're definitely gonna run into his
definitely
ghost.
Going to run into. Now that we've said it, it's going to happen.
Whatever, guys. You guys worry too much. We're gonna be fine.
Two are holy people. If undead aren't a thing for you, you can just poof and they're dead.
Yeah, it's
More dead.
sort of my thing.
Yeah. I've
I-
seen you.
God, think for that.
You do everything for that.
Hopefully we can find a guide who is willing to take us that far.
Yeah, that was my next suggestion. Is we should probably get a guide because while it could be a whole lot of townsfolk that are just scared, these look like hardy people. I think we may want to heed their word if getting into the Timberland is a little dangerous. We should probably have a friend.
Yeah, and also it would save us probably like hours and hours of travel and looking around and getting lost and
Walking in circles,
yeah, we have
being
done
cold.
that before. And it is going to be cold.
Yeah, I should probably pick up a base layer or two for under this plate because
Yeah, we should
it
get some
gets
furs.
cold.
I mean,
Well, I'm not gonna skin you.
I was about to say.
Find another thing.
Are you?
Yeah, probably going commando under the plate armor isn't going to be the best option here.
Works just fine for me.
Lil, you're not wearing anything under there.
You guys know this. I got no shame. I grew up with like 18 family members. Whatever.
That explains you walking around the ship in the middle of the night with night. You know what? It explains everything now.
At least you always know where I am because the moon reflects off my butt.
Wouldn't that be good for a paladin of You know what? We're not going to go into this conversation.
All right, we're stopping it there. So you guys, did you guys want to get to do some supplying right now? Okay, we'll sort of montage through that a bit because that's just going to get tedious. So you're able to gather some warm weather. Those of you that need it are able to gather some warm weather equipment, just general equipment to survive in the cold. Not going to be that expensive. I'd say probably 5 gold pieces, and you have all of the furs and leathers and sort of sleeping arrangements, everything you might need for some extended travel through the wilderness, needing some warmth. If there's anything else specifically that you need, now's the time also to let me know. If you want to buy any, climbing gear or wood axes or rations or anything like that.
Shall we find our guide before we get all our supplies, or
I think we can handle getting basic survival supplies. I have a question.
Sure.
I have this grappling hook that we took from the train bandit kobolds a very long time ago. Is it just the hook, or does it have like a rope attached to it too?
I think it has the rope attached to it too.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, it's the full grappling hook. Yeah, from the hobgoblins.
Oh, the hobgoblins, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it like a sturdy rope?
I mean, it's seen some use.
I think I want to, while we're going to get supplies, I just like had this thought out of nowhere, out of my mind, but I want to like replace the rope on that.
Okay.
So
you
it's
got a
like
little bit,
sturdy and can be used for climbing.
a little bit
things.
nicer rope. Okay. Yeah, you can do that. You can get a 50-foot length of rope for a gold piece.
Cool.
Anything else anybody's going to shop at Amazon?
I think all I need personally is just cold weather clothes.
Okay, so you guys can get those. Those you need, like I said, the 5 gold pieces will be enough to get you because it's not it's the clothes, jackets, gloves, also sleeping sleeping bags, essentially, or another kind of tents that you can set up that'll survive in the cold weather. I'll say for the sake of this, too, since they're not going to need it, probably that morning, Sato would have handed the bag of holding off to one of you. You guys had that arrangement that you guys were going to sort of pass it around to each other anyway, so if one of you wants to carry the bag of holding or you want to roll for it, then that's...
I mean, it's probably safest with either Lil or Den, because ain't nobody going to get through them.
I'll carry it.
Okay. Then you can carry the bag. It's also probably best that somebody who has a high strength carry, because it's a 50-pound bag.
I'm strong.
Yeah. So you have the bag of holding. You can load up your stuff into that. And yeah, so if you need any other equipment, let me know before you leave, because you can definitely provision here if you need to. But if you want to make your way to the Hunters Guild before doing so, we can play that on first. Okay. So you follow the directions given to you by the boy on the docks, and you find yourself approaching the keep. You can see the large gates that lead into this kind of towering structure at the center of the city. Currently open, and there are people coming in and out. It looks like there is some business and probably some forges and stuff in there. There's some smithing and other ironwork that is done within the keep itself. Some more integral pieces of society kept locked within there in case there was any sort of attack. However, you skirt off to the left as you hit the end of that street, and you come up to a building with a bit matching the description. There are a set of double doors at the front, painted this sort of vibrant red there that really sort of this stark appearance versus everything else in the city is very bleak and kind of grays and browns and blacks. There are a couple dozen horses that are currently hobbled outside. There's sort of a boisterous kind of atmosphere coming from within. And there's this people coming in and out, all of them very well armed, many of them carrying bows, some of them carrying guns, most of them even more well armed than the average citizenry here. And above the sort of steps that lead up to the double doors at the corner of the building, there is a symbol, kind of a wooden placard burned into the wood of a looks to be like an elk or some other sort of that's it. Closest to an elk is probably the best description you can have, with an arrow sticking out of it. And you guys can head inside if you like. Okay. You proceed in and you walk through the front doors, and it is a very sort of busy and boisterous kind of interior. There are a couple of like tables set up just on the interior with people sitting behind it, and you see people kind of bumping into as they come in and out, not really paying too much attention to your group, walking up to the tables, doing some interacting, throwing down sacks of gold and picking up slips of parchment, people kind of yelling back and forth at each other. Some people in here don't look like they're maybe members of the guild, but some of the business people dressed in a little bit less rugged attire, speaking and sitting at small tables, kind of signing documents and exchanging. And there's just this kind of continual or perpetual business going on within the this main hall here. As you enter, one of the tables, a couple people walk away, and the young man sitting at the table kind of motions over to all of you and say, do you need something?
Yeah, we're looking to possibly employ an escort.
All right. By the sort of lost look on your faces, I'm guessing that you haven't done any work with the guild before.
Nope, first timers.
All right. Come over here, grab a chair if you need to, and we'll go over the contracts here. he begins to rummage around next to him, pulls out a couple slips of paper, and says, "Name of your business."
Gale Force.
Gale Force. All right. I don't have anything on file for you. And what is it that you need? You're doing timber work, lumber, or?
We're just, we need an escort up to, we're adventurers and we need an escort to the Red Hand Bandit Fortress, please.
He sort of begins to write. He says, "The ret."
Yes, please. You heard me right.
He puts his quill back in the inkwell. He says, "Listen, we only do serious work here.
I'm completely serious.
We're serious. That's where we want to go.
I mean, look at me. I'm in plate armor. We're adventurers. This is what we do." The escort just needs to get us there.
He sits back and crosses his arms. He says, "Do you know anything about this fort other than just wanting to go there?"
We heard it's haunted.
Yep, we heard it's haunted. We hear it's cursed. We hear your people are told not to go anywhere near it. But, yeah, we're adventurers. We love this kind of stuff. Haunted, whatever. It's going to be great.
All right. Well, we're not going to turn away business. I'll certainly put in the contract for you. I don't know off the top of my head anyone that's going to take the contract to escort you up there. What I'll do is I'll put in the request. I can tell you it's probably going to be a bit pricey. And I'll see if I can find someone that's willing to do the work. How much are we willing to pay for this?
Dan?
How much do you think it would take to get this done quickly?
Well, if you're looking for a single guide up there, most of the going rate for most of the protection work for the timber and the lumbers that make their way through here, those typically run per person about 15 or 20 gold a day, depending on the tenure of the guildsman that's being hired. Now, if you're looking to go up to the fort, we need to find somebody that knows their way there. Not many people do, so it's going to be pricey finding somebody to do that. And you're going to have to convince them that it's worth their while. I'd probably put the offer in at I'd say anywhere between 75 to 100 gold a day.
All right. Tell him 100 a day.
100 a day. All right. I'll put that in. You can work out the details once the offer is accepted, and you can negotiate the price and work out the rest there. But I'll see what I can find. Like I said, I can't make any promises, so I'll let you know, and we'll be in contact if we're not able to find anyone. And he begins to write up the rest of it and writes in the price and the paperwork and scrawls that all down. And he flips it across the table, turns it towards you, and says, "I just need whoever represents you to sign there, and we'll put in the request."
I'll sign it.
Oh, got it. Okay.
You sign it, Dan. He takes it back, rolls it up, ties a band around it, whistles over to a sort of younger girl across the room. You see there's a couple of kids around here kind of serving as runners. And he hands it over to her, and she takes it and goes running off towards the back room. He says, "I'll get that right away. We'll put it on the notice boards. Get in contact with anybody that's looking for a job right now." I'd probably give it... Somebody should reach out to you by the end of the day. You can either wait around here, or I can send them to wherever you're staying once if the contract is accepted. Do you have staying at one of the inns at the taverns around here? Or do you have a ship?
We're staying at the something in the flagon. What is it?
The Shepherded Flagon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Okay. That's easy enough to find. So I'll send them, if somebody does accept it, I'll send them out to the Shepherded Flagon. Though, like I said, likely nobody will, so I'll probably be sending somebody there to let you know that the offer's been rejected. But I'd recommend at least wait till sundown today. I'll have a response to you one way or another by then.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Well, best of luck to all of you. I just have to say, I would not recommend going up that way if you don't have a guide. I know you might be tempted to if we end up rejecting the offer, but I'd hate to see anything happen to you. You seem like nice folk.
Thanks for the words of caution. We appreciate it.
All right. Well, it's a pleasure meeting all you, Gale Force, and we look to do business with you in the future.
I get up and toddle towards the door.
All right. You don't make your way back outside.
I guess we go shopping and then go back to the tavern and wait.
All right. Anything else anybody wanted to buy, or are you guys good for now?
I'm good with cold gear.
So you head back to the tavern and get some lunch, kind of hang out there, have some drinks, maybe walk around for a little bit, get to know the city a little bit better. And you wait. The hours pass, and the sun begins to set, and the tavern begins to fill up a bit more and grow a little bit more boisterous. And it's nice to have the time to relax, but obviously probably sets most of your teeth on edge to not be doing anything, knowing what you have to do, knowing that you have a job to do. You wait and you wait and you wait. Eventually, as it's been a couple hours since sunset, and the tavern grows relatively kind of loud and packed. You're all sitting there around the table, drinking, conversing. When suddenly one of the chairs at your table is pulled out, and a person sits at the table with all of you. You see a dark-skinned man, shaved head, kind of thick set jaw, a little bit of scar coming down his left eye. He's wearing simple studded leather armor, has a belt that he sets to the side as he sits down with a scimitar on it, and otherwise has a few pouches and another bag that he sets to the side. And he sits there and sort of leans back in the chair a bit, and he looks over all of you.
Well met there, friend. What can we do you for?
He looks over you for a bit longer, and he says, I can't tell if you're crazy or if this is some sort of joke.
Well, it's not a joke, so...
He smiles and he says, why would anyone, especially outsiders, want to go to the hold of the Red Hand?
Nice little sightseeing tour. Maybe visit the gift shop.
Get a
I
nice
like you.
tchotchke.
You're funny. All right. Well, you offered good money for it. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I'm Agrand Thornbolt. And I'm willing to accept your offer.
Have you been up to the fortress before?
I've seen it. Didn't dare go within about 10 miles of the place.
That's fair.
It's close enough for me.
Yep.
You know, the stories that they tell about it are true.
That it's haunted and cursed and there's something evil.
I went there about 5 years back. Ranging party. scouting for some better timberlands for a pretty lucrative mining or lumber operation. I was going to be moving in. Nobody was doing any work up there, so thought, hey, might be some good business. Like I said, we got about 10 miles away from the place, and I knew the stories. Didn't want to go any closer. A friend of mine thought that he'd make his way through. Now, he was a mean son of a bitch. Been ranging these lands for, at that point, about 20 years. I hadn't seen anybody wield a sword better than him. He left. We waited. Never came back. I say the dead wandered the forests up there. Now, if you know all this, and you're going into it anyway, like I said, you must have a hell of a reason for doing so, or you have a death wish. Either way, I guess I'll help you that way. See what happens.
All you gotta do is get us close enough to see it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll talk about price then. So, offer seemed modest enough. Make it 150. And I'll get you within 5 miles. Make it 200. I'll take you to the goddamn gates.
And how many days do you expect it'll take us to get there?
I'd say about 5 days to get to the foothills. Depending on how long you want to spend there, which I don't imagine you'll want to spend very long. 5 days back. Looking around, you guys look like you probably have the money. I can say I'm worth it.
All right. You come with your own supplies.
Of course.
Sean, can I make an insight check?
Sure.
Me too.
Sure.
I wish Tova was here with her 8 million insight check.
Yeah, that would be useful.
Oh yeah. Okay. This is great. This is awesome. It's an 11.
25.
26.
All right. Everything you said so far seems to be pretty straightforward. I mean, he's a pretty... seems to be a bit guarded, but nothing he said so far kind of rings your bell as untrue.
Thank you.
Well, what do we want to do? We want the 10 mile, 5 mile, or door option?
I was looking to see how much money we actually have because I don't know.
You just muted yourself.
We have 9,000.
It's gonna be 2,000 there and back.
If we do the front door option.
You think it's worth it?
Gets us to the door, an extra pair of hands if things go bad.
And if he's been in these woods as long as it seems he has, then him being on our side would not be a bad thing.
Alright. 200 a day. But if you run screaming like a baby out of the keep, you don't get paid.
He chuckles a bit, and says, "All right, that's a deal then." Throws his arm across the table, grasps her hand. He has a very strong, sort of calloused hands.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, but you get the impression that he's probably worth it, from your read of him. He sits back in the chair and says, "All right, well, I'll get my horse rested and we'll leave first light." I'll meet you outside the city, just to the north.
See you then.
All right. He heads off stands up from the table, pushes the chair back in, and heads through the bar, back out the doors.
So we should probably think about renting horses, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe next time the barkeep comes by, maybe he'll tell us. We'll ask, right? He'll know.
We're not going to be able to play this not having any money thing much longer if you guys keep asking him where we can buy stuff. Just saying.
Yeah, okay, maybe we ask somebody else. There were lots of horses over by the guild hall. They know we got money.
Little do you know that Gregor is actually the owner of the guild. No, yeah, you unless there's anything else you guys are doing this evening, you can rest again for the evening, wake the next day. As far as procuring horses, if you're looking to get a horse for each of the four of you, purchasing one is going to be about 50 gold each.
Can Lil ride a pony?
Yeah,
or
but
can
those
I
cost.
ride with somebody else?
Oh yeah, you can ride with me.
With all my gear, am I too heavy?
That's gonna be a bit heavy for one
Yeah,
horse.
okay. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, you are short, but you are not exactly light.
So it's like, what, that's 200 for...
200 for the four.
We can do that. That's fine. I'll just buy a horse.
And that's with the food and everything, the provisions for the horses too. Okay, so you're
Hey,
always.
can't you ride your dog? Don't you have a dog?
That's yes.
Yeah, don't you have to-
I have fine steed.
We
I
get
don't need one.
3 horses.
Damn it! This is just the part of the campaign where I'm trying to get you to spend all the money I've given you.
No.
All right, so you got Fine Steed, which you can definitely cast out. What that lasts for like
Yay.
how long?
Looking right now. Hold on 1 second. Fine.
Because that might make a difference if you're not able to ride it the whole day.
Oh, true.
Its casting time is 10 minutes, but I summon a spirit that assumes the form of a unusually intelligent, strong, loyal steed, creating a lasting bond. Statistics has the
Oh yeah.
chosen form.
Isn't it
I
like
think I get it's just yeah,
It just lasts until it dies. Yeah.
or until I desummon, basically dismiss it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna.
It's like
go-
a fine familiar. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yep, Gully's coming out.
All right. At some point we need to talk about. I don't think you have access to find Greater Steed yet, but
Nope.
Because that was just added in Xanathars. I'm excited to see what the Greater Steed version of the flying dog that you ride or something would be. Okay,
I'm
you
making Falcor, guys.
You and Sadell have been talking.
Yeah. The rest of you are able to you purchase the horse, so 150 gold to purchase the horses for for the three of you, and you're able to summon Cujo, or whatever you name the dog.
Golly.
Gully. That's right. Okay. So you have your 3 horses and a spectral dog. You all come riding up to, which draws a lot of attention as you make your way through the streets, because he is a very big pupper. And as you make your way to the northern edge of the city, you can see what did he make? Agrand. Currently waiting there, a horse next to him, a black steed that he's kind of tending to and heading down right now. He sees you all approaching and waves as you come up and mounts his horse. You look like you're trying to say something, Savannah. It's making me anxious.
What does my horse look like?
Whatever you want it to look like.
I want it to be like dapple gray with like a silver mane and very pretty. And super beefy, muscular horse.
All right, big,
like
stocky.
a big, strong, like stocky horse.
What is it? The horse from like, is it Tangled? With the like big like police horse.
Yes,
like
that one.
Like,
that's what I want my horse to look like.
Yeah. It's like its legs are kind of turned inward. It's so like just freaking jacked.
He's amazing.
So
his name is Jack.
Okay.
That's all I wanted. This is D&D. I can imagine whatever I want.
You can. Your horses can look however you like. You spent the money on them. So the 4 of you come riding up, and Agrand saddles up next to all of you and says, "All right, I hope you're well provisioned for all of this, and ready for whatever we're going to find."
Yeah, ready as we're going to be, I guess.
Okay. Well, try to keep up then. And he stirs his horse forward and goes off at a trot into the forests, kind of veering towards northeastern trajectory into the timberlands. The rest of you following behind. And that's where we'll go ahead and take our break and come back to see what happens next.
You usually just have something else to say. I didn't know if you were...
No, I blanked.
Okay, we're gonna take a break now. Pause.
How long of a break are we gonna take? 10 minutes?
Sure, 10 minutes.
We'll be back in 10 minutes, everybody.
Yeah, we'll be back in 10 minutes, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the awkwardness at the end of the break there. I had a minor sort of, I think my CPU fried for a second, and my brain just stopped working.
Sean.exe stopped for a while.
Yeah, just blue screened there for a second. So I apologize for that bit of awkwardness. But before we get started, just wanted to give a couple of shout outs to people active in the chat. Thank you to Seth and Raven for hosting us today. And I saw G-Master had gifted some inspiration to Lil, which I'm sure will be useful during the session. So thank you so much for that. And I'll give if we have anything else in the second half, I'll thank you guys after. But I think that's it. So we will go ahead and jump back in. So picking up where we left off, you depart from the city of Wintercliff on horseback and begin your travels through the northern hillsides of the timberlands surrounding the city. Yes.
I forgot to do this earlier. Whenever Agrand is not paying attention, I want to take one of the diamonds that I have that we were like hoarding for resurrection spells and give it to Lil.
Okay.
Since we talked about that last time, I forgot to do it. So you have one.
Okay. All right. So you've got your resurrecting diamonds. You travel for the next few days through the woodlands and eventually city and any sort of roadways. There were some initial like hunting trails and paths leading into the forest, and you passed a couple small lumber yards and some other campsites set up around the city during your first day or two of travel, spending the evening getting to know some of the miners and some of the lumberers that are currently in the area, and kind of your current kind of tour guide here, Agran, sort of showing you about and sort of pointing things out as you make your way north. About your third day of travel, though, all signs of civilization and community around here are gone. It is looming 75, 100-foot tall pine trees with thick 5 to 10 foot wide trunks stretching up as far as you can see in every direction. The only noises really at this point are the crunching underfoot of the horses making their way through this rough terrain, the occasional flapping of wings from a bird or a crow that might take off from a perch above you. Occasionally in the evenings, as you also hear the jingling of cat bells. Occasionally in the evenings, you'll hear the howling of wolves out in the distance. Agran typically keeps watch for most of the night, as it's part of his job, essentially to protect all of you, though you might not necessarily need it. He guides you further and further to the north, and you can see the terrain becoming rougher and more elevated as you venture your way following these paths that Agran seems to know instinctively and knowing the safest way to travel. Eventually, on the fourth day of travel, you crest a ridge where the trees are kind of underneath you, and you hit an elevated point where you can see around you for miles and miles, and you can see far to the north, another few days travel, the mountain range that sort of sweeps along the northern hills of the northern coasts of the island. And it's there that Agran points out towards the base of those mountains, near some of the foothills, there is a section where the trees seem to be cleared away, where it's a little the land looks to be worked a bit, and you can make out the dark shape of some sort of structure, sitting probably, I'd say probably about 40 miles away from where you guys are at right now, and you can only make it out at this elevation. And he points out and he says, well, that's where we're going. It's the hold of the Red Hand.
What do you know about the Red Hand?
Not a lot. They were bandits that gave a lot of trouble to the people here for a long time. The lords of this land paid them tithes to keep them from raiding the surrounding villages, and eventually it got to a point where the people here had been driven to almost a point of starvation based on how much the Red Hand was claiming. They did a bit of pirating to some of the surrounding countries, and some of the shipments that made their way through the channels to the north and the south of Wintercliff. During the last, I think it was the last 50 years or so of their existence, that's when the legends of this bandit king, Grendel, started making their way through the lands around here. I don't know much about who they were, what happened in those days, but I know that things became brutal. The coalition marshaled an army even at one point to stand against and to try to take out this growing horde. They had about as much success as you can expect, a bunch of foreigners trying to make their way through these lands. And, well, they were ousted pretty easily. And then nothing. One day, the raiding stopped. The attacks stopped. And no one's heard from the Red Hand ever since.
And I suppose no one cared enough about their well-being to figure out where they'd gone.
Hell no.
That's
I think
fair.
some people, the most prevailing theory that I've heard from people that more rational than most was that some sort of disease or illness probably took them out. They were pretty isolated up here and didn't have the supplies to take care of it. So, I don't know. Whatever killed him, though, it was a godsend.
You say the rational people say that there was an illness. What did the not rational people say happened? What are some of the legends and stories?
You know how common folk are. Some people said they killed each other, turned to blood magic and cannibalism. Others said that a dragon came and wiped them all out. That, or one of the gods sent a divine messenger or some sort of angel or otherwise to eradicate them for the evil things that they have done. I mean, I've been doing this for long enough to know that the gods don't care, and that a dragon wouldn't have stopped with one castle. So I don't know. I'm thinking the disease is probably the most likely option, though. Whatever remains there that's still causing trouble, that's what scares me. I don't much care how it got there.
We'll see.
From this point forward, you should probably be on our guards. You should keep your weapons at hand. I don't like the idea of something sneaking up on us in the night. Still got beasts to worry about, so keep an eye out for those as well.
Sounds good.
All right. He stirs his steed forward and begins to make his way down this hillside into this valley that the hold seems to sit at the other edge of. All of you follow, and you travel for the next day, getting probably about halfway through the valley, I'd say about 20 miles or so from the keep. You rest at that point. Agrin telling you that you'll be arriving there tomorrow. So anything you want to prepare, if you're going to prepare for a conflict or anything, you can do so now.
Any reason to worry about spells? What do you guys think? I have always, way more access to way more stuff than I can actually prepare, but I mean, right now I've got, Dispel Magic and Revivify, but do we want, Daylight or Remove Curse or something along those lines?
That might be good. I did, prepare protection from evil and good. I don't trust there not to be undead in here.
Yeah, I don't either.
Ghosties.
I have protection from energy always, which is nice. So I can, help one of us if cold or thunder or lightning and fire happen. But, okay. Remove Curse? Or should I keep Dispel Magic? Well, wait. I can get rid of another one. Never mind. So, Sean, in the morning, I'll do a big prayer and switch up my spells a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the same thing. Also, the night before. No. The morning of. I really need to learn which one of my spells are rituals and ones are not. I'm actually going to ritual cast Commune.
Okay.
Which I have now. Which I've literally never done anything like this before. Or Den hasn't, I guess. But I'm going to take one of the holy water vials that I have left and use it to cast Commune. But before I do, I'll just say, I have this thing that I can do where we can ask a divine proxy or my god for answers to a couple of questions. They're yes and no questions, but is there anything you guys maybe want to know? Are there ghosts in them there hills? Or something? I get 3 questions.
So my suggestion is we either focus the questions on what treasure could be in there, or on the creatures that are in there. If we want as much detail as possible, and if we want to get out alive, I'd prefer us to ask about the creatures.
What do you want to ask then?
Is there any limitations on what we can ask?
It's yes or no answers.
Well, I think knowing if there's any undead would be good for you two, at least.
I mean, I'm kind of of the mind it's just kind of a guaranteed we're gonna have undead in there, just based on the rumors, and more often than not, rumors have a nugget of truth in them. It's kind of how they get started, but I don't know. Should we? I don't know how we can formulate a yes or no question to really get much information, but asking something about what we're looking for.
It's more like, is there anything we want to confirm?
Yeah. I don't know. A simple question of like, can we even touch what we're looking for? I'm trying to be really cryptic around our guide. I'm not even saying anything. Like, I'm actively avoiding the word.
So you want to know if you want to know if any treasures there can be reached.
Yeah. Handled or something. I don't know, because I don't know if this one's going to be the same like the other one.
Yeah. That's a good one.
If it's a god entrusted power, then, none of us, I think, are on the corruption side of things. Except, maybe Lucius. But
Alright, I'll ask about the thing. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and also try to confirm, are we gonna be dealing with undead? Because if the answer's no, then...
Wait, isn't there a common theme with, like, undead things about vengeful spirits? Are there any ways that make those easier to deal with if we know they're there?
I don't know. I can sort of zap undead back to where they came from, but...
Fair enough.
Anything else? I got one more.
I mean, is it silly to ask, is this place actually haunted?
Oh, cursed, I guess.
Yeah. Something along those lines.
I think we're taking it being haunted as a given at this point. Maybe asking about it if it's cursed would be the best bet then.
Alright. I'll do those three then. Okay, so I take out my priest stuff that I never use. I'm the worst priest.
Dust it off.
I take out my little kit and take out some of my incense and one of my vials of holy water that I have. And I do a ritual.
All right. So you sit down and you begin casting the commune ritual, lighting the incense and kind of splashing some holy water on the ground around you. And what is the first question you'd like to ask?
Are there undead within the hold of the Red Hand where we're going?
There's this moment where you sort of calm and the little bit of sound around you begins to fade away. And you sort of begin to hear the sounds of the ocean, even though they're miles and miles away from you at this point. And just like this faint whisper over the ocean waves, you hear a voice call out, "Yes."
Always good to know for sure. Next question. Are there any curses on or in the hold of the Red Hand?
The waves continue as you call out this next question. Which, to the rest of you, as you're watching this, Den's just sitting there in silence at this point. As you speak out, looking around the waves, as you stand on the ocean, another voice calls out, "Yes."
Great, 2 for 2. I like this less and less. Alright. The relic that we're going after, the relic of oblivion or whatever, Is one of us gonna be able to take it without anything bad happening?
The ocean waves continue to kind of whelm underneath you, and you can you hear the voice once more for the final time as the water begins to still and calm, and it says, "Perhaps, though the journey will be dangerous,
Thanks.
and as you say that, your eyes open and you're sitting there with your friends again.
That was weird.
So what were you able to find out?
Definitely undead. Also definitely curses happening. And it will be a dangerous journey, but we should perhaps be able to get what we're looking for.
Undead, a curse, dangerous. Sounds like we've been through all of this before.
Yeah.
Pretty much our normal run-of-the-mill adventure that we go on.
Oh, I should have asked if there were going to be puzzles.
Anything very disarming.
Sean, I have one question.
Sure.
So my necklace gives me, if I'm in direct sunlight, gives me the +1 to armor.
Yes.
Would daylight work for that? If I cast daylight inside, would it work?
Let me look at the. Okay, yeah, that's right. Daylight is a weird spell because it doesn't actually create daylight.
Okay.
Because I think I wanted to check with that because it's the 60-foot rear sphere of light shines out of range. Because I think I've had this come up before, and it's a very like misleading spell because like the sunburst or the sunbeam spell creates like an area of daylight around you. Daylight doesn't actually create like radiant light.
It's just better than light.
It's just
light
better
spell.
than light. Yeah.
Okay.
So no daylight one, but something like sunbeam or something, the light that creates, that would work.
Okay.
Basically anything that could hurt a vampire will also help you.
Okay. Just wanted to double check before I tried to do that and bomb through a spell slot.
Yeah.
Well, we've got the morning ritual and everything else going on. I'm gonna drop attunement to my water breathing necklace and reattune to my ring of protection.
Probably a good idea. I mean, you might need to breathe underwater. You never know.
We can just walk on it, yo.
Yeah. No, that's probably a good idea.
For that.
Yeah. Okay. So as you all gather yourselves from the morning and cast your spells, and you mount your horses again and go riding off into the valley. Which calls for a music change.
I feel a little weird for a while after talking to a god.
Yeah. And you're not sure if that was Seraphine or not. Because it also could have been a messenger of Seraphine.
Is that like a divine proxy?
Mm-hmm. Voice was a little more masculine, but then again, you never talked to Seraphine, so you don't know what she sounds like.
Yeah.
Plus, talking to people on the phone is always weird, and
They do sound
Maybe
a little
they were going
different.
through a tunnel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you travel forward the day passes, all of you kind of staying on edge, and it becomes a little bit exhausting, all of you trying to keep his best eye around you. You finally get to the point where the valley sort of levels out and you begin to hit that incline again around noon. And you gather you're probably about 10 miles out at this point, continuing your journey. The hours pass. And you finally get to a point where about middle of the afternoon, where the trees around you, notice the grass and the area around you is beginning to grow a little more browned, a little bit less life to it. You hear less birds and less animals in the area. And Agrin comes to a stop and looks around. Shadows are beginning to grow long, and it's actually beginning to grow pretty dark in this area as the sun is kind of setting over some of the hills, the trees obscuring most of the light. And he looks around, he says, "Well, this is about, I think, the area where I stopped before. It's hard to tell. It feels right." If you want to turn back now, I won't charge you anything. But I'll take you forward if you still want to go.
We're still planning on going for it, I'm afraid.
We've got business here.
All right. Stirs his horse forward and begins making his way sort of up this rough terrain. And there are moments where through the trees you can glimpse the hold up ahead, probably still about 5 or 6 miles off. And eventually you hit a point where the terrain is growing rough and there are these thick briar patches, these huge clumps of thorns and brush, and Agrid's looking for a way to cut through them and finally hits a moment where he stops, gets off his horse and kind of with his gloved hands trying to pull some of them apart and says, "I don't think the horses are going to make it any further than this. Not that it's probably safe to have them." He looks over to you, Lil. "Your dog might be fine, but the rest of us probably... I'm not bringing mine any further."
I suppose we should dismount then.
He hobbles his horse on one of the trees. Says, "I should be able to find my way back here." All right. He draws his scimitar and begins to sort of like cut through some of the briars and make his way through this clump here.
Yeah, I'll use make a hand to just pull some out and keep it out of the way.
Yeah, it's easy enough on foot. It's just with the horses, it would have been really tough getting through all that.
Sean?
Sure.
Sorry. Would it be more beneficial for me to stay on Gully because of my itty-bitty little legs and how much trouble I'd probably have scrambling over the briars? Or do you think... I don't know.
He's a little more versatile and has a little more maneuverability than your average horse. So he might be okay.
Okay.
If you want to stay on his back, that's up to you.
Okay.
Hey, Den, do you want me to carry the bag while you walk, since I'm up here?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I'll hand her the bag.
I'll take the
And she teleports away. She's in disguise.
Wow!
She was one of them all along.
All along. The path becomes harder to travel as you go, and you find your gait slowed as you make the edge of this cliffside. And finally, as you're kind of cutting through, you hit a point where you get through this like kind of mess of briars here, and it begins to kind of thin out. Agrand at this point too, the sun has almost completely set, and it is very, very dark. There's a little bit of light piercing through the trees up above, but Den, you are almost totally blind at this point. If you want to cast light or light a torch.
Yeah. I'll cast light on my shield.
As it gets to that point of darkness, you cast light on your shield. And it's a little disconcerting that your normal sort of, I imagine the light that Den normally uses is either just your kind of natural lighting or kind of maybe a bluish tint to it. The light is red. Like deep crimson red. The rest of you kind of look over to Den like, what the hell are you doing?
That's not normal.
Agron kind of turns back.
What's it? You trying out the new color?
Nope, I can't change the color. It's always blue.
That's not an omen of any kind.
It is really not good.
We knew going into here that it might be a little different.
Yeah, what we'll worry about is what it's gonna do to the rest of my spells.
Which means if yours are affected, mine are.
Go ahead, Star.
I was just gonna make a terrible pun. It's gone now, but
seeing that, can I pull out the vapor puppet to see if that changes?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you invoke your vapor puppet. It appears next to you, wreathed in shadow in this vampiric form. Looks pretty much the same.
Still creepy, but not too different. I wonder if
Just as creepy as it's always been.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it's still creepy, but that's me.
Does Gully look the same?
Yeah, I mean, he looks the same.
Okay.
Let's keep going, guys. You know, the more we stay out here, the worse it's probably gonna get.
Yeah.
You wind around this sort of sheer cliff here, making your way to the east, looking for a path to make your ascent up, and eventually it does sort of even out, and Agron begins to lead you up what seems to be this sort of sloping terrain upward, and you can see probably about this sort of winding pathway that seems to cut through the mountain and up to the hold, which you can now clearly and visibly see about a mile up. And you realize as you're standing on it, though the grass is overgrown and it's mossy, you can see the remains of what looks to be stone here from a roadway or something, or some sort of paved cobblestone that probably once grew through here, that there were roots, and most of it's gone. It's only this one stone about every 15 or 20 feet that seems to indicate that there was once something here. And in the evening, sort of cool breeze, this rolling fog begins to come in. And it's been kind of picking up as you make your way through, and you can still see above you and clearly up ahead, up towards this keep, which is just perfectly silhouetted in the moonlight. But all around you, there's this kind of about shoulder high fog that seems to sort of permeate the area.
Wait, where's Lil? I can't see her.
Yes, you can. I'm on the horse. Or I'm on gully. I'm over this. I can see over this.
I mean, it's not dense enough that's really obstructing your vision like immediately, especially with the creepy red light sort of helping a bit. It's almost like a little rave in here. But up ahead, it kind of obscures your vision.
Lou is just playing in it.
And you hear this low kind of, it's like a grinding noise, almost pitched with this almost wail to it. So and you hear footsteps.
Does Gully react? He's got a keen hearing and smell.
Oh, I mean, he definitely hears it. You all hear it. I think Gully probably perks up a bit first and kind of looks forward in the fog there, up in the direction you're going, and kind of begins this low, like, growling.
I'm gonna instantly look in the direction it's coming from. I hope with 120 feet of dark vision I can see that far.
You can't. It's obscure. Your dark vision, I mean, is not an issue here. It's really just the obstructions of the fog, making it difficult to see past. I'd say probably about like 60 feet ahead. Is really where the fog gets to the point where it's totally obscuring your vision. And as you stare out, you can see a shape approaching. It looks to be about this dark shadow in about human sized, just stepping closer and closer.
I pull up my axe.
Yeah, I'm gonna put myself in the front of the group.
All right, you all ready yourselves? You all ready yourselves? And you hear that wail as stepping out into view now is a single skeleton, just walking towards all of you.
I just wait and see what it does.
It's just walking towards you. It's got its hands out. It's got a rusted blade in one hand, and is kind of, it's obviously, as much as something can stare at you with no eyes, tattered armor, this sort of grayish remains of some sort of studded leather armor pieces kind of scattered across it, and you can see this sort of red dye or coloring across the front that probably made a symbol at some point, but you're only getting like bits and pieces of it at this point. And it's got the blade in hand, its mouth chattering, and it is walking straight towards all of you with its sword up like it's going to attack.
I'm gonna make a wild guess that used to be probably a hand shape in red.
Oh, well, I'll put it on the battle map here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that... Man, I don't want to pick a fight we don't need to pick, but this guy doesn't look good.
I could probably just knock him over.
Go for it.
If you don't,
The
I
less
will.
of these things that are all together, the easier our journey in and out will probably be.
Okay, I walk towards the skeleton.
Okay.
Get close to him and just like try to swing the flail sideways.
All right. You walk up to it and
Knock him over.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
Golf swing that head off.
I feel kind of bad. You want to just be friends with it?
Lucius, this is your territory.
I'm actually waiting to see if I can get any more of them before I do anything.
24.
That hits. Roll damage.
Okay. Do a D8. Ooh, that's a 4. That's a 4. This is ridiculous. Okay, that's 3. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17. 17 bludgeoning damage and 3 thunder damage.
Which is doubled too, because it's bludgeoning damage. So it's 34 points of bludgeoning damage. As you take the flail, whack! You hit the skeleton, which just shatters into 1,000 pieces in front of you, scattering down to the ground. And
I'll never roll damage that well again.
you see just the hand of the skeleton on the ground, kind of like twitching for a moment before the finger bones fall apart.
Okay.
Onwards.
I kind of back up towards the group again. All right. Easy enough.
I tell Gully to sniff at the remains of the thing, and basically in halfling just tell him,
This guy's bad. Fight anybody who smells like him.
At which point Goalie begins to growl again. And then kind of begins a low sort of whine. And you hear Agrin curse under his breath and say, "Shit." As you look up on the ridge, as you are heading up one path, the ridge above you, and you see a line of skeletons just begin to tumble off the cliff towards all of you. Just 10, 20, 30, 40, all falling down around you, and slowly beginning to get up as you're avoiding the skeletons as they're hitting the ground. Some coming through the fog in pretty much every direction at this point as this mass of undead surrounds you.
Inside?
At which...
Yeah, how far are we away?
They're all around you.
No, I mean, how far are we from the
from the door?
From the door?
Yeah. If we start running, can we hide inside?
And I need everyone to roll for initiative.
Oh, okay. All right.
I didn't have a token for a horde of undead, so I just sort of...
Wait, I'm gonna put it up on stream.
Oh my god.
Here you go, guys.
Okay.
Now I'm going to sit here and roll initiative 50 times. I'm just kidding. I'm not. That's not how this is working. All right. So... Oh, I need to roll for Agrand, too. Good initiative, skeletons. Well played. Be Agrand... Who also... I rolled 2 natural 20s. One for the skeletons and one for Agrin. This is going to be a good fight, guys. Oh, sorry. That 24 was not for... Okay, they sold 22. The 24 was for Agrin. I just didn't click his token. All right, I did not roll another natural 20, but I'm going to give him the benefit of that 24. All right.
How did...
So...
Sorry, Gully just jumped to 24 and he shouldn't have. That should be...
Did I hit his... Oh,
Yeah.
God. What was his again? I'm clicking
11.
on.
I fixed it. I got
All right.
his fixed.
All right, Agrand has... I'm having a hard time with roll 20 right now. All right, so descending, Agrand's going to be going first. He's got his scimitar drawn, and he immediately just starts hacking at a skeleton as it begins to get up and slash out towards him. He's going to make an attack against it. Let's see. Rolls, he makes 2 attacks. So first scimitar attack is a 27 to hit. Second attack is a 25 to hit. Both hit. I'm rolling really well. I didn't just make like a level 20 character. I just won everything.
He's on our team. No one's sad about it.
I guess so, yeah. Alright, so
until we find that secret Cryptori tattoo, then we'll be upset about it, but until then.
Until then. So he takes the first blood at the skeleton horde here, dealing 16 points of damage total. And that will be the end of his turn as he looks to your group, taking out, smashing through one of the skeletons and then striking at another. Kind of backs up towards kind of the group of you in the center of this, and says, I hope you're prepared for all of this. This is more than I'm equipped to handle right now. And that's all he's got. The skeletons' turns. The horde is going to make 2 attacks. Let's see. I'm going to do 1 attack against Den. I assume you're kind of up in the front here with most of the skeletons.
Oh, heck yeah.
She and I both said
Yeah.
we were at the front.
That's going to be a 26 against you.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to be 25 piercing damage. As 4 of the skeletons come rushing up, you're deflecting most of their strikes, and a cluster of them come and just begin to jab their blades into you through the chunks in your armor, just overwhelmed by more than you can handle at that point.
I thought you were saying just one of them had done that damage.
I'll help out. This is a homebrew monster that I'll release later on DM skill and stuff. They're functioning as a horde, as a unit together, like a swarm of rats, a horde of skeletons.
I was like, holy strong skeleton, Batman.
Which will change some of the channel divinity stuff. We'll get to that later on about saving throws and area effects and things like that. But for right now, there's a mass of them that comes down to attack you with their blades, Den, and you're able to fight off as much as you can, but the rest of them are able to get through your armor.
Well, that's heckin' scary.
Yeah. The others are going to rush toward, since Agrand is sort of out front right now, they are going to attack him with another strike. That is going to be a 14 hit, so that does miss him. He is able to sort of roll out of the way, avoiding and parrying a lot of the strikes. He gets a couple of small kind of nicks, but nothing substantial. As he's able to avoid more of the damage. However, towards the outskirts of this horde, the ones that aren't able to get in, you see them creakily begin to draw bows from their backs, knock and loose. This volley of arrows is going to go towards Star.
Hi.
So it's gonna be a short bow volley towards you. That's an 18 to hit.
18 is my current AC.
All right. That is 22 points of piercing damage.
Uncanny dodge.
You can definitely do that. That is a perfect use of uncanny dodge. As a volley of probably 12 to 15 arrows come streaking down from the sky towards you. You dodge out of the way best you can. A couple graze your shoulder and arm, but taking some damage. Otherwise, you're able to avoid most of that. Good job. And that is the end of the horde's turn as they continue to sort of mass around you. Lucius, is your turn.
I'm gonna use the Wand of Wonder because why not?
Oh God.
Perfect timing.
All right.
Jesus.
So you just point it at a cluster of skeletons and pull the trigger there. Go ahead and man, I don't have the Wand of Wonder out. Let me pull that up. That's right. My PDF got closed. My computer crashed.
Please just summon like a swarm of fireflies or something.
That would be hilarious.
I'm really hoping that it's the butterfly cloud.
The
first time I use this thing.
Why do I feel like we need to put the Wand of Wonder in a pink umbrella and just see what happens?
All right, Wand of Wonder. This one's good to know your alphabet, kids. All right, Wand of Wonder. So go ahead and roll me a D100. Yes.
Do I add anything to it? It's just straight D100.
Just D100. Choose a target within 120 feet of you. This is counting like one big target. So yeah, you just point out a cluster of them and
come on, let's do this. 71.
Right. 71. Not bad. You hold the wand out, and it begins to kind of these little kind of bits and baubles at the end begin to spin and glow, and as it reaches this sort of apex, there is a shoot as a little glowing orange ball goes firing out and boosh, explodes into a roaring fireball. That's pretty clutch. So they're going to make a dexterity saving throw.
Let's go, boys.
All right, that is a 13. The DC is 15. So that they will fail. So go ahead and roll your 8d6. Or wait, is that right? 8d6? I don't remember for fireball.
Hey, man, you're saying 8d6?
No, it's 20.
Yeah, it's 20d6. Duh.
Man.
70 d6.
Yeah, it's 86. I was right. Why am I second guessing myself? Yeah.
All right, cool.
86.
30 points of damage.
30. Wow, that was a good fireball roll. So mark off that was one of the 6 charges, and the skeletons take 30 points of fire damage as there is an explosion in the center of them, and many of the skeletons are just destroyed on impact. Some of their blackened corpses beginning to get up, but sort of destroys this one mass of skeletons there, and then they're slowly being filled in by the rest. By this probably 70 or 80 skeletons that are remaining. All right. A little bit.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and take 2 hits with my ice frost axe thingy magoo.
Okay.
And that's what I'm gonna do right now.
All right.
That's really what I can do. So here we go. First hit. Which dice is not gonna screw me over? 17.
17 hits.
Okay. It's 1d10 plus 1d... What? It's bad that... Oh, sorry. 1d... Can't remember. And I have to look at these things. It's been so long. 1d6. Okay. D8, d10, and d6. 7 and 3 is 10 plus 3. 13 points. 3 of them being ice cold.
Okay. And go to make your... You want to do your second attack too?
Okay. That's a 10.
10 actually misses. They're not very hard to hit. There's still a bunch of skeletons. But yeah, at that point, you're not really used to riding around on this mount during combat, and you come riding forward on your beautiful mastiff, striking down with one hand towards the skeletons, cleaving through a couple of them, and then wheeling around to try to attack again. However, it just gets a bad strike on one of the skeletons, kind of cocked helmet and sends the helmet flying, but doesn't do any damage to it.
Okay. And then I scream out, "We're running and sick 'em, Gully!"
All right. So Gully can make an attack too if he wants.
So he's gonna do his bite attack, which is +3. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it doesn't hit because I got another 10.
Okay. Yeah, Gully tries to bite at one, but unsuccessful in doing so. Star, it will be your turn.
Okay, this is probably the best thing I can do. I am using my bonus action to cast Shadow Blade.
Shadow Blade, okay.
It is one of my favorite spells from Xanathar's Guide. It's not going to come. Hang on, let me set it to come up as the description, not the attack. Because that would help.
That would help.
Where's the output thingy? Output spell card. There we go. There we go. So I have a shadowy blade in my hand that does psychic damage. I can use it as a finesse weapon, etc., etc., etc. When I attack in dim light or darkness, I have advantage on my attack rolls.
Okay. Yeah. You can definitely... Yeah, I'd say you get to a point where you're in dim light or darkness, because Den does have her light spell going, but it doesn't take too much to move enough away from her to get that. So go ahead and make your attack. Yay,
advantage! That was a nat 1 and a nat 20.
That makes a difference. So go ahead.
Oh god, this is gonna hurt.
Okay, so that's...
This is the second time in a day you've used this spell in, like, the clutchiest of moments.
Yeah,
so go ahead and make... Yeah, so roll the psychic damage, and then, yeah, you get sneak attack on that, so...
Yeah, 13... Oh, 13 plus 16...
29.
29?
Thank you. 29.
Guys, I did math!
You did! Now I have to roll all the d6s. So someone remember 29 for me.
Alright.
10. 24. 27, 31. 33. 37.
So 29 plus 37.
Plus 5.
Okay, so that's... Oh my god, so that's 59...
It's 71.
71, yeah.
71 points of psychic damage to your skeleton horde.
Oh, damn. Still checking, I was like... Take psychic damage. So... I think this is the sort of image we get here, is that you reach out in front of you and you conjure up this dark blade out of the shadows around you, and as you grip it, you sort of take, like, in one fluid motion, sort of slash out at a cluster of the skeletons, and in this very sort of anime style, you see all the skeletons not seeming affected, almost like you missed for a moment, and as you reposition yourself, suddenly that, like, this swath of like 20 skeletons, the tops halves of them just fall to the ground, and the skeletons themselves just seem to fall apart just from the pure, like, mental energy of the blade. Damn, yeah, that wrecked some shit there, and a lot of the skeletons have gone down at this point. I'd say just over half of them are remaining. You guys have taken out a lot there. Den, it is your turn.
Now, there's still a lot of them, though, right?
There are still a lot.
All right. Then my turn. This feels like a time when I should use my channel divinity. So I'm gonna run in so I can make sure I get as many of them within 30 feet of me as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use my action to do turn undead / destroy undead.
Okay.
Which, actually, I need to make sure that I have the right challenge rating on here? I think I do. Every undead that can see or hear me within 30 feet must make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. So they make the wisdom save. Ooh, I was very close to being a 19, but that's going to be an 8 total.
Okay, so any creature challenge rating 1 or lower that fails is automatically destroyed.
Yeah. So here's what happens. So the horde as a whole is a challenge rating 9 creature. But it does have undead vulnerability. So what this does is it does 50 points of damage. Just total, indicating how many of them you destroyed. So from casting your channel divinity, you run into this clutch that are stabbing into you at this point, concentrate holding your holy symbol, and just let out this flash of electricity around you. And as there's this explosion of electricity, which washes over most of you, all put your hands up instinctively, preparing for it to be electrocuted, but just passes over you to no effect. However, you watch as the skeletons in that area are just incinerated. All of them just dissolving away in a cloud of ash. Still a great number of them remaining and kind of filling it in. But at this point, you guys have cleared out over half of them. It's probably about like 20 or so skeletons remaining. Nice. Anything else with your turn?
I am going to... Nope, I ran in. I'm going to stand my ground.
Okay. Agrin's turn, seeing all of you attacking these and just destroying them in these massive explosions and these display of power, seems to grow a little bit more confident and goes rushing over towards the rest of another kind of clutch of the skeletons, bring up his scimitar and taking us 2 swipes down at them. It's going to be 2 quick scimitar attacks. That's a natural 1. And that barely hits. But that does hit for shit. So 5 slashing damage. All right, not as impressive. But he does get in some strikes and begin to strike out at some of this skeletons that are currently surrounding him. Which is going to put at the skeleton's turn. They are going to make their 3 attacks. However, there are less of them now kind of coming at you and attacking you. A little bit less dangerous. However, we're going to get 1 attack at Lucius from the group of them with the short swords. It's going to be a 22 to hit. For 15 piercing damage. And then there's going to be another attack against Lil with the short swords. That's going to be a 10 to hit, so that'll miss. And actually what's going to happen too, as they're striking at you, some of them are going to strike at Gully. So that'll be another attack against Gully too. That's going to be 25 to hit. And he's going to take 13 piercing damage.
He disappears. So I just land on my ass.
Yeah, and as you're being stabbed at, more of them stab at Gully, who then kind of looks out, and then poof, disappears underneath you. You land on the ground. These skeletons now kind of looming over you. That will end their turn. Lucius.
Well, I'm not going to push my luck again with that wand.
Do it.
Screw it, I'm going to do it again. Why not?
Something terrible's going to happen.
I forgot that I had it for like 4 sessions.
Hey, I'm just happy you're finally using this, you
right?
Inconsiderate.
I'm just hoping for like butterflies. I'm really hoping for butterflies.
Well, roll that D100. Maybe we'll get some butterflies, man.
This thing has what, like 7 charges or something crazy?
7 charges.
Okay, so this is the second one.
You probably don't want to use, if you use all of them, it has that chance of crumbling to dust and dying,
Yeah.
but...
Yeah. All right, here we go. A 40.
40. All right. This time you hold your hand out towards another grouping of them, and it goes... sends out a bolt of lightning in the direction of another cluster of skeletons. We've got a lightning bolt and a fireball in the same fight. So they will make another dexterity saving throw.
I love this thing.
Let's see. Well, they did much better on that. They rolled a 20 on their dexterity save this time. But so they're going to take half damage, but so go ahead and roll 8d6 lightning.
Cool. $27 halved.
27. Okay. That'll be 13 points of damage. Okay. Destroying a couple more of the skeletons that aren't able to get out of the way. You send this bolt of electricity that lights up the area for a moment. All right. That's pretty good.
And then the vapor puppet is going to run next to Lil and kind of defend her while she's on the ground, so he's just going to take a shot. But you said we're in mist, right? Like fog mist?
It is sort of foggy here.
Cool. All right.
So he gets that
advantage.
Yeah.
Ready. So advantage. Oh no. What is it? I guess. Why can't I see that? So 17?
17 hits.
Cool. 5 damage.
5 damage. All right. Comes up next to Lil. Punching out or slashing out at a couple of the skeletons in the area, knocking some to the ground and shattering them, doing a little bit of damage there. All right. Lilibet, is your turn as the shadow entity comes next to you and tries to assist. Gully dissolving at your feet.
Sad. I get up because I'm assuming I kind of fell on my butt.
Yeah.
And then I'm, in my anger, gonna take 2. Apparently, my dog has anger too. I'm gonna take 2 shots again. So
okay.
21.
21 hits.
And I'm gonna go ahead and add a divine smite to it because I can at just first level. So that means I can add. Shoot, it's been so long since I've done this. I'm going to add. It would be 3d8.
3d8, yeah.
Yeah, so first level, because they're undead.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
We'll take Gully out of initiative.
Yeah, 3d8, 1d6, and a d10. This is lots of dice. Okay, so it's 3, 8, 10, 18, plus 6 is 24, plus another 3 is 27 points of damage. 16 of that is radiant, and 5 of that is cold.
All right, what was the total again?
24.
24. Okay, nice. 24 points of damage as you quickly, in your fury, you feel the tears whelming at the thought of Gully having been destroyed. You take your axe and cleave through the skeletons surrounding you in a wide circle, carving through them and sending their bones scattering around, carving out another big swath of them in your wake.
Let me do it again.
Go for it.
Cool. Let's try this dice that may not hate me as much. Oh, yay, 14 again, so that's plus 7, 21.
All right.
And I'm just going to do a normal, I'm not going to add Divine Smite to it this
okay,
time.
So normal attack.
I get to re-roll that, because that was a 1. Oh, yeah, that wasn't great. 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage. Okay. still carving through a couple others. Probably only a few skeletons remaining at this point. You guys have cleared out a significant amount of them. Or not a few. I mean, there's probably like 10 or 15 left. But Star.
Go for the Shadow Blade attack again.
All right. Miko attack.
That is a 20-something, 26 or 7, I believe, to hit.
Yeah, that's enough.
So then I get sneak attack, so I need to roll all these dice again. So that's 16, 20, 25, 28, 32, 38, 43 points of psychic damage.
44 points of psychic damage?
43.
43 points. Nice. You another kind of cluster around. You take your blade and you slash again. The blade almost seemed to extend at that point, and just carving through a group of them. And as it passes through, it does no physical damage, but you watch as they just begin to fall apart from just the energy that you send coursing through them through this blade. Nice.
I still have a bonus action if it's still standing.
Yes.
Bonus action for the magic claw.
Okay. Bonus
Offhand
action
attack.
Go for it.
What is my actual to attack bonus? Plus 9. 16.
16 hits.
Cool. And for the claw, it is a straight up D6, I believe.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah. That's another 5 points of slashing damage they take.
5. And as you slash through these, you just take your claw as one of the skeletons kind of coming up next to you, just straight through it, and the head just sort of explodes, and the skeleton falls to the ground. Nice turn. Den, it's your turn, and there's one last little clump of like 2.5 skeletons left.
I'm gonna hit him.
Okay.
15?
Hits.
Yay. 2. 2d4. That's a 4. That's 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. 12 bludgeoning and 3 thunder.
12 is doubled to 24, so 27 points of damage.
Yeah.
From that strike, which is more than enough. You rush up to the last 3 remaining skeletons, whipping around your now silvered flail, and you swing out and connect with each end of the flail onto each of the skeletons, and just whoosh, all 3 of them just dissolve and being shattered into thousands of pieces, spraying across the ground as the last skeletons fall.
Because you're not hardcore. Sorry.
Well done. So, as the remaining skeletons fall, the kind of calm returns to the air again, and that sort of eerie mist, all of the kind of chattering and growling and everything fading away. They're just a mess. Just this is like field of bone pieces all around you guys.
Whew. Well, that was fun.
Yeah, they weren't kidding when they said that undead were here.
We should move.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah,
we
quickly.
should keep what Arnithal, what's his name?
Agrand.
Agrand.
Agrand, if you wanna, the door's right there. If you wanna go, Den, is this okay? Am I speaking out of turn? Like he can go, and we'll meet back up with him as soon as we're done.
Your choice.
Aaron kind of looks around all of you and says, I think I'm good here.
You're gonna stay with us?
She's a scimitar, says, "You're all making this look easy, so I might as well."
Well, okay. From what you said, it's dangerous in there, so it may not be any better, but I don't think you're getting hazard pay. I'm just letting you know.
That's fine. I'll make a quick escape if I need to, but you pay me to take you to the door, so I'll take you to the door. And he sheathes his scimitar. You all continue your way up this path, keeping an eye out for more skeletons. You can see the remains of where this horde had proceeded from coming down the mountain. And as you wind your way up to the gates, you can see the fort in front of you. This massive, dark structure, this deep gray, almost black stone, these dead vines winding their way up across the parapets and over the sides of the fort. The exterior of it crumbled and broken. The gates themselves you can see the remnants, the tattered and decayed remnants of banners that once hung to either side of the main gates of the fort. And the main gates are open, the portcullis drawn up. There is looks to be a moat surrounding the fort, and the bridge is lowered over it, though the bridge itself looks to be partially broken as well. The mist and the fog here kind of swirling. You can see in the dirt and the mud around the signs of this horde of undead that had recently proceeded through here, heading down the hill. And you can see the signs of their passage, their footsteps in the muck and the mud, as you continue and kind of slowly approaching the outskirts of the fort.
You said that the bridge itself was broken?
It's partially like part of it is sort of broken off into the mode, but there's a passable section of it.
Well, I guess we should get inside in case something else happens.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
One at a time, then.
It's big enough. The bridge is wide enough you can all walk across it. It's just like
Is it gonna crumble though?
the aesthetics. Well, the skeleton army seemed like it walked across it, so.
Oh, true.
The aesthetics of it is sort of broken and crumbling, like it's been here for a while. Trying to give some flavor.
Yeah, and we're trying not to die. So.
Mending.
Yeah, you just mend your way across.
All right, let's go.
As you all sort of approach the fort and begin making your way across the bridge, you get about 100 feet out from the gates themselves as you begin to walk across. And in the silhouette of the moon behind the fort, you all catch movement. You all look up, and you can see moving across the parapets a figure on horseback. You can see the light of the moon shining through the ribs and the bones of this skeletal warhorse as a humanoid figure in plate armor rides on the back of the horse, a helm obscuring their face. They look down towards you, and you see two gleaming points of red light staring out from underneath the helm. The rears back on the rotting remains of this warhorse and steers, stopping right over the bridge and looking down at all of you. There is a silence as the figure stands there, staring down in your direction, about, say, a little over 100 feet away. You then see it raise one hand towards the sky. And as it does in its hand, you see this coalescence of black and red flames licking off this skeletal hand as it holds the object high and then hurls it down towards all of you, streaking, letting off this horrific wail as it does. It shrieks down and slams among... Yes?
Can I try to counterspell it?
It's not a spell, and you're more than 60 feet away.
Try.
But as you all turn and begin to run, Den, you grabbing the people around you, the ball hits in the center of your group and explodes. You see this as a fireball would, but larger, with these black shapes of these horrific screeching faces overwhelming all of you. I need you all to make dexterity saving throws.
Everybody should be within 10 feet of me, right? So they get to add +4.
Yeah, I'll say that everybody gets the bonus on that.
Thank God I am a halfling. Thank God. Oh,
it was
Jesus.
+4, right?
Yeah.
So 18?
18?
23.
23?
It is a 8 + 4, 12 for me.
I rolled a natural 1. So 7 total.
Let's see. Megan rolls a 20. So who rolled above an 18 or higher? All right, so the two of you and Agrand succeed. So Star, you don't take anything. You're able to duck off of the bridge into the moat as there is this explosion of fire and this dark energy. So, calculator.
We also have the aura of warding, just as a reminder, Sean, that they have resistance to damage from spells.
Okay, it's not a spell.
Oh yeah, that's right. Shoot.
Yeah. Who does anybody have resistance to? You have resistance to fire damage, Lucius, and does anybody have resistance to necrotic damage? You do. Okay, so Lucius, you take
58 points of damage.
You take 23 points of fire necrotic damage.
And that's already halved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's halved, and then halved. The fire is halved again. Lil, you failed on the save, so you take 48 points of damage.
Ow. Okay.
And Dan, you take 62 points of damage.
I have 63 hit points.
Do you really?
This is real life. You could walk in here and look at my sheet right now.
I believe you. Shit.
I'm sorry, Sean. You said 48 for me?
I think so. And Aaron takes 31. As there is this explosion of death and flame among all of you. The figure on the warhorse kind of looks down at all of you with this this stare, this menacing aura, and as the mist sort of whelms in the wake of that explosion, vanishes from the parapets.
I just hook my grappling claw back onto the bridge and just climb up the chain.
Yeah, you climb back up. You're a little soggy. It's not filled with water, but it is a little damp down there. Nothing down there worth that caused you any problems.
Lou runs to Den.
Inside now.
Inside it is.
He's not strong, but he tries to do everything he can to pick her up, and then pumps 10 points of healing into her so she's not at 1.
Okay. You cast the healing?
No, I take my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
You lose the hit points?
Yep, I lose the 10.
Then you don't regain any.
Oh. Lil, get here now.
I run over and
We just need to pick her up. Let's go. I'll explain it later.
Can I still walk? I'm going. I said inside. I'm freaking walking inside.
Okay. So you guys are heading into the fort.
Mm-hmm. Apparently. Which did you know where the big guy probably is?
All right. You head in towards the fort, through the mists and across the bridge, into whatever darkness and whatever lies within. And that's where we'll go ahead and take our leave for the evening and end our session, and see what happens next time. So well done, everyone. No one died.
I need a dice jail.
you do need a dice jail.
Which die was that?
I hadn't rolled this one all session, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna switch it up. That was a
Is that the
mistake.
metal one?
No, it was this little gray guy.
Yeah. Well,
Thank
you're at
God
a
for being a
solid one.
halfling.
Yeah, you're at a
'Cause
solid
I
one
would've had
hit
that
point,
one too.
which you still failed. So I guess it had the same effect, but
Yeah.
you didn't get that one. All right. Well, we will. We'll see what happens next time as you guys venture into this to the hold of the Red Hand and encounter whatever entity just blew Den's face off. Okay, so we'll wrap things up there. Go ahead and quickly go through our announcements and thank yous. Let's see. Going through everything, I think that's didn't have any much other activity. Thank you, Ryan, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Glad to know you like the channel.
Welcome.
Welcome. Otherwise, thank you everyone for watching. Really appreciate it. And those of you that were active in the chat talking, we really enjoy the interactions there. I don't get to see most of it just because I got a lot of stuff going on here. As far as what we have coming up, may play some Vidya games tonight, and definitely probably tomorrow. I imagine some games will be happening. So stick around for that. You can follow us on Twitter, here on Twitch to get all those announcements. Let us, and we'll let you know when we're going live and what we're going to be doing and when we're going to be doing it. Sometimes well in advance, sometimes 5 minutes before we go live. But that's the wonder of all of us. And sort of the small streaming here is kind of getting the freedom to do what we want and to play games like normal people and get to show you guys all a little bit of what we do. Some very entertaining people here on this channel that are not me. I'm not entertaining to watch and play video games at all. Everybody realizes this. But yeah, so also you can, if you miss anything or if you need catching up, if this is the first session you've watched of Survivors Complex, go watch on our YouTube. You can see the entire backlog of our show is up and available for your viewing pleasure. All 35 other episodes of it. So you can go watch all of those and probably not watch anything else for the next month. We have lots of amazing shows that are currently being run on this channel and stuff that we're doing. We have Wild Space, which plays every other Monday. We had it last week, and we'll have a week from this Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. So check that out. That's run by Ryan. It's about a group of us going through some space travels. He's playing D&D. It's a lot of fun.
We almost die a lot in that game, too.
Almost die a lot in that game, too. That's a common theme on this channel.
Death.
We like to live dangerously.
Should have called us the Death Knights. Oh, that's perfect. But anyway, so you've got all that going on. All those episodes are up on YouTube as well. We also are starting, well, I should say we just finished up a sort of mini series called Wonder World, which was our journey through the Cypher system, playing some superheroes. That was a lot of fun. Had 5 episodes of that. First time playing the system, we kind of goofed around with it and botched the rules and had a lot of fun. But go watch all of that. All those episodes are up on YouTube too. And starting on this Monday, we have our very first episode of Apocrypha, which will be our Apocalypse World game that we will be running in the off weeks from Wild Space at the same time, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern and 5 o'clock Pacific. Come watch us play. We're going to be starting the game officially this coming Monday. Our episode 0, our prologue, is up on YouTube right now if you want to kind of get an idea of what's going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Otherwise, we've got video games coming up, and we have our Wednesday Linz Day, where Lindsay either plays Dragon Age RPG or we all play Overwatch with her, depending on what she wants to do, because it's Linda's, whatever we're calling her officially on stream. It is Lindsay's day, and she gets to do whatever she wants. So come out and watch us do that as well. I think that is basically it. If you're interested in anything we're doing, credits to all of our artists. They are below us on the Twitch page. If you're watching this on YouTube, go over to Twitch and you can see who makes our music, who does our art, where we get any of our graphics from, as well as where you can follow and see all of us online. So check that all on Twitch. Thank you to everyone out there that contributes to the show and to our stream. We really appreciate all of you. This is all of their favorite song. I hate it, but now it's stuck here forever. Anything else that I'm missing, Savannah?
Don't forget our YouTube dice giveaway is still happening.
Yes, we are still doing our third part of our dice giveaway. So once we hit 50 subscribers on YouTube, we will be giving away another set of dice. So go on YouTube and subscribe, and we will give dice to you. But yeah, otherwise, I think that is it. And we will go ahead and call this stream for the night. So thank you all for watching, and until next time, good game and good night, internet.
Good night, internet.